The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PL0T. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it goes down, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party. The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PL0T. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it goes down, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to those in television land. Happy Tuesday to our silent supporters. Happy Tuesday to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for your continued support. Really appreciate each and every one. Remember, guys, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. And remember that our membership is active. So anyone who wants to join our membership, you can do so. It is active. Tonight's topic is GLP plot for political violence with your host, Baron Henry, Pastor Ricky, and Mr. Ratigan will be joining us soon. So let me just give an umbrella welcome to everyone in the chat because it is filled already. So an umbrella welcome to everyone in the chat and a happy Tuesday. Hope everyone has had a wonderful and productive week so far. Special shout out to all the moderators and also special shout out to all our channel members. Without any delay, I am going to hand over to Baron.
Okay, thank you, Wifey. And before we proceed, of course, we are going to ask Pastor Ricky, right, to lead us in a word of prayer. But before Pastor Ricky do, right, last week I said that no matter the prayer that Andrew Holness prayed, there is no prayer that can save Andrew Holness. And let me say this, Jamaica, is only one pastor, to be honest, can save Andrew Holness as it relates to what is coming. And that pastor is Pastor Ricky, and he's a mystic sensation. And this pastor is praying for Andrew Holness to go to prison. Please continue the prayer, Pastor Ricky.
Lord of mercy. What you do to me now? Anyhow, let's pray. Wow. 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 Amen. You're the greatest, sir, Byron. Anyhow, let's pray. Father, we thank you. Hallelujah. Glory be to God for this beautiful day that you have made. And in spite of everything we encounter and overcame, we will rejoice and be exceedingly glad. Hallelujah. In this day. Thank you for your daughter once again, Lady Anne Marie. We thank you for your strength. You are her strength, no strength like any other. We thank you that she has the victory because you won the victory over 2,000 years ago. We thank you as she navigates through the different content, the videos, the documents, the clips, that everything will be done decent and in order. There will be no interference, no interruptions, no internet issues. In the mighty name of Jesus, we thank you for her husband, Sir Byron. Continue to bless their marriage and bind their hearts together in harmony, love, peace, unity on a one accord. Bless their children and grandchildren, their entire family. We lift up your son, Sir Byron. We thank you for the skills, the gift, the talents, the abilities that you have blessed him with to do these deep dive research, to verify information, and then to present it in a format, mighty God, where even the youngest of us can understand and interpret it. And so we ask that you continue to anoint him, continue to rain your blessings on him, lead him and guide his thoughts and his thinking as he uncover and reveal the truth in the name of Jesus. Bless your son, Sir Ratigan, his wife, his children, and we pray, mighty God, and we thank you for his healing. We thank you that you have touched him from the crown of his head to the sole of his feet, and that no weapon formed against his health shall prosper in the mighty name of Jesus. We thank you that no schemes, no plots, no devices, no strategies against evil, wicked forces will come against this program. In the name of Jesus, we denounce it. In the name of Jesus, we continue to hold the Prime Minister and the government accountable for bad governance and corruptions and criminalities, that they will all be indicted and be brought before the law, because they're not above the law, even though they behave like they're above the law. And we're grateful that the law is about to show them that they're not above the law. Bless everyone in the chat. In the mighty name of Jesus, their children and family, we thank you for the sacrifice they make week after week to join us on Tuesdays and Friday nights. We know that their reward is not in vain, and that you're coming, mighty God, to bless them and strengthen them and provide for them. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
What a wonderful prayer, as always. And we are so much appreciative of that. Let me talk to my wonderful brothers and sisters, my Jamaican brothers and sisters. Let me say to you, the evil empire is in a conundrum. Andrew Holness and his evil empire are confused. And yes, the demons is searching for ways and means to extend himself into power. Andrew Holness, it is not going to happen. We know what you're doing, right? And we have the information, we have the data, we know your plan. And let me warn our Jamaican people that you need not to fight any politics for Andrew Holness and his administration. And let me say why. When Andrew Holness and his administration making use of SSL investors' money. They did not bring you into that. They did not give you any of the spoil, right? They loot many investors. And when they had looted these investors, they took the spoils for themselves. Don't fight any political war for the Jamaica Labour Party. Yes, Holness, we have evidence now. We are coming out tonight. Don't fight no political war for Andrew Holness. We are not going to have a 1982.0. Right? And so tonight, we are going to make ourselves explicitly clear. We are asking the Jamaican people, the Petrojam corruption, you did not get any benefit of the loot. Awarding contracts to Gavin, you did not get any benefit of the loot. Several other corruption, you did not get benefit of the loot. You were in the dark. During the COVID pandemic, when Andrew Holness was busy robbing investors from SSL, running millions of dollars through the bank, Jamaican people, listen to me, you did not get any of those benefits. Don't fight Andrew Holness political war. We know what they are doing. Before we go into the meat of things, of course, we are going to ask Brother Ratigan to meet and greet his wonderful Brother Ratigan. Thank you and welcome in the space.
Yes, good evening. Everybody can hear me? Yeah? Yeah, good. Yes, good evening, Lady Ann and Lord Byron and Pastor Ricky and all of the wonderful people who have tuned in. I just want all of you to know that, just as a reminder, that you need to sign the Magnitsky petition. Please, if you haven't done so, please do so. And while you're doing it, do not donate at that site. It's the change.org site where the petition is. Don't make your donations there. Go over to ojldf.net, the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation.net, and that's where you make your donations. And we need the donations in order to pull off the reconnection, the reconnection rally, which as of today is scheduled to take place on June 21st, Saturday, June 21st at the Rand Williams Entertainment Center. People have asked us, well, I'm going to talk a lot and this and that. Well, here's a chance, people, for us to do something. Two things we're asking you to do. Sign the petition and make a donation. Don't make the donation where you sign the petition. Please, as a reminder, don't do it there. Do it over at the ojldf.net, our website, and give generously, because we need to bring this, we need to pull this thing up. And there are only two things that we're planning to do this year. Another thing is that, and Baron, you and Lady, and I feel proud of me and the rest of the people. At Sunday, I said to myself, I need to set a target. I need to do some ATIs. And I said, I need to do about 10, no less than 10. And I actually did 10. And I'm getting responses now. I'm getting responses. And it's funny, you should see some of the responses. Actually, I'm getting the government of Jamaica to do some of the things that they promised to do. Because even today, the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, they wrote me back and they said, okay, Mr. Ratigan, the things that you're asking us about that we should have done back in 2011, we just did them. So,
Okay.
from 2011. Right. So I've been busy doing that, and I'm also right now. I'm a little bit late because I was working on the manifesto, because we had the editor, senator, who said that he's the editor. He edited the manifesto. So on Saturday, one quick second, Baron, on Saturday, we're gonna show you that this man is not an editor. I wouldn't have him edit my son's homework, wouldn't. And I'll show you the things. I'll show you the things. And you're going to say, well, how could this man edit this important document and have it put out in this state? But more important than him, we're trying our best to educate our people to think critically, to parse through politicians' words. And we're going to continue with the series of interrogation and interviewing techniques. And as our special guest this week, we'll have retired FBI agent Gamal Abdel Hafiz, who he and I were the only two people on the Arabian Peninsula when 9/11 happened. I was in charge of the office. He was my second, and he actually interviewed the mastermind behind the USS School bombing. So he's going to talk to you about how they went from interviewing to interrogating. And yes, also he's the first agent, he's the first person to interview the homegrown terrorist cell in America. The first one, the Lackawanna 6. He's the guy who broke that case wide open. So he's going to come talk to us this week, Saturday. And also what we're going to do is we're going to have a special guest, another special guest, Dr. Devon Taylor. We're going to talk about beach access and the environment. And I'm telling you, people, you're going to be shocked when we tell you about some of the things we found out as far as the environment is concerned and what the government of Jamaica is doing with medical waste, including body parts. You're going to be shocked. So stay tuned for that. And then don't forget, Wednesday night, Come Reason with Ratigan. Dr. Ben and I will be there and we'll be talking.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
So guys, the link is pinned to the Magnitsky petition. So guys, please, those who haven't signed yet, the link is pinned.
Okay. All right. Pastor Ricky, the opportunity is yours to meet and greet your people. Then, of course, we're going to proceed.
Yes, thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Welcome to Mystic Sensation platform. You know, it's a lot of bombshell, revelation, information. Get your notebook, get your pen, get ready. I have my notebook right here. I'm ready to, learn more than what we know. There's so much corruption, criminality going on in the space of Jamaica. And you won't regret listening to all the information that is compiled, put together accurately, verified. One thing they can't do, they can't sue us and they can't debunk what we're saying. They have to keep silent when Sir Byron and Lady Anne-Marie, Mystic Sensation, Sir Ratigan, and myself come on this space, because what we put out is credible information. One thing about Mystic Sensation and Ratigan's platform, Reason with Ratigan, Father Lonesome, Titans and City Hall, Jeffrey Tavares, everybody that's out here, we're putting in the research, we're presenting credible information. One last point, they say we're trying to bring down Jamaica. We love Jamaica. We pay taxes from foreign into Jamaica. We pay land property, light bill, water bill, you name it. And we send remittances. So we help build Jamaica economy. What we don't like is the corruption and the level of criminality and the propagandas and the lies and the deceitfulness of what's taking place in Jamaica. That's what we're bringing down. Amen.
Thank you for that, Pastor Ricky. Now, Jamaica, let me say this. Now, we have come to the conclusion that the Jamaica Labour Party is a criminal network. And we are going to prove it tonight. Now, we have so-called reputable men amongst the JLP, some of those who are members of parliament, and those who are canvassing to become member of parliament, but had lost what we call their moral compass. Now, when we look on a KC lawyer, like Tom Tavares Finson, who would have concocted a lie and came out on a political rally and disseminate that information to deceive the millions of Jamaican people, both locally and diaspora, we are saying that he had lost his moral compass. A thing that he had planned and deliberately executed. And so then, you have seen for yourself that they care not about Jamaican people, but of course, the illicit enrichment that they are gaining and that they want to protect. Now, where am I going? We have seen Mr. Newton Amos. And let me say to you, Mr. Newton Amos, likewise, we have to put Tom Tavares to shame. Tonight, we are going to put you to shame. We are going to dwell a deep dive into your background and show people that you are representing a criminal network and you are within the criminal machinery, and your interest is to protect the status quo of criminality. We are going to prove that tonight. Now, my Jamaican people, you have seen that the Jamaica Labour Party in a conundrum. And let me say this, the Jamaica Labour Party has no interest. Jamaica people, I want you to believe me. You know, last week I said I'm not going to shout. I think I want to measure myself tonight. I want to speak clearly. No shouting, Brother Ratigan. I want to measure myself tonight. So my Jamaican people, this is what I'm saying. Andrew Holness administration, as a result of their seeds of wrongdoing, the only interest that they have as it relates to this general election is to cover it up. They have no interest in terms of building the nation and moving the country forward. Andrew Holness knows very well that if he loses this election, he is going to face the judiciary. What Andrew Olence wanted to do is to create mayhem like a 1980. We are going to prove it. We are going to show you the inner circle of Andrew Olence, the Andrew Olence, James Robertson, Darrell Vaz, Horace Chang. All what they are planning and plotting is to have violence. Amos was used to traffic that violence. Amos was used to try to implicate Damian Crawford. Amos was used as a vehicle, right? Because they want the political violence. Andrew Holness knows that his administration had lost favor with the Jamaican people. And I am calling out the plotters. James Roberts, Andrew Holness, Darrell Vaz, Horace Chang. We know what you are doing. So then, before I go there and get into the meat of things tonight, let us, present our comrade leader in terms of the vision that the People's National Party have, and Mark Golding, who is parallel to Ibrahim Traore as it relates to where he wants to put Jamaica, where he wants to fight for Jamaica's future. And Mark Golding is going to deliver. My people, let us listen to our comrade leader. Mark Golding, right? Equal in strength as Ibrahim Traore. Honesty, and integrity. Let us listen to our common leader.
Jamaica's public health system is broken. Every week we hear the horror stories. Long waiting times, no beds, basic equipment not working. Hospitals and clinics are in crisis. While this government cuts ribbons, Jamaicans are being left to suffer in overcrowded, under-resourced facilities like this one. The next PNP government will change this. We're going to shift focus. We want to prioritize actual care for people when they're sick, not these mega projects with huge cost overruns and that can't finish years after they start. Refurbishing every operating theatre, creating urgent care centres island-wide so people stop waiting days for help on benches or floors. We're going to launch national screening programs to target the biggest killers of our people: cancer, hypertension, which is pressure, diabetes, which is sugar. We want to catch them early so that people's lives can be saved. We will make the investments to ensure that every parish hospital has the equipment it needs to deliver the services required by the people. And stop the outsourcing racket that leaves patients with nothing but bills and delays. And we will support our healthcare workers, not just with words, but with housing, with training opportunities, and with respect. This is not about PR, it's about saving actual people's lives. Next PNP government will deliver proper, decent healthcare for the people of Jamaica. Time come.
All right. Right. That is some of the plans that the People's National Party has, right, to unveil when they become the incumbent, right? Now, let us get into the bangarang, right, that unfolds, right, for the week, right? And the first thing that we want to put up, we want to visit over by Big Mama, right? Panel, I just want you to just sit back a little and just relax until, you know, I call upon you. You know, we were Ratigan. You know, we were Authority, right? Oh, Jamaica, as I said, that the Jamaica Labour Party is in a conundrum, right? Confusion amongst themselves. We have seen where Delano, Steve Wright, right, had made a 180 degrees turn, right, of not viewing the Member of Parliament pie. You know, I mean, Senator, not really getting the amount of money that he would have wanted, right, as it relates to monthly, you know, being the Member of Parliament. It's a bigger, you know, beef to fry. And of course, he has his political ambitions. But Seaga came from the grave, my friend, and talked to Steve Wright. Seaga visited him yesterday, and Seaga message to him said, all of a sudden everybody want to undone. Well, me I make you know Steve Wright. That is only one down there, and a hand Holness. So light a candle and find your way back home. And we have seen Steve Wright had honored Edward Seaga, who came from the grave, visited him, and saw Steve Wright lit a candle and found him way back home. But there is no unity there. Steve Wright was under duress to do what he had done. So there is no love there, but it's all painted in pretty words and good articulation. And while, of course, the spin machine, right, processing all of that. Let us get into that. Let us get into that. and hear what is happening over there.
I gather that Belmont Road, the headquarters of the governing Jamaica Labour Party, was the scene of some tense moments. Yes, tense moments last night when several Labourites turned up there, to speak to their party officials, principally the General Secretary, and you see the video we have up on our YouTube platform. Several Labourites on the compound of the party's headquarters at Belmont Road, trying to get an audience with the General Secretary, Dr. Horace Chang. And these Labourites, I'm told, were there to talk about the unresolved candidacy in North Central St. Andrew. Unresolved, that is Carl Samuda's seat. Up until this moment, the Labour Party has not resolved this issue of whether it will be a new candidate or the veteran 83-year-old Carl Samuda will be asked to return. Yeah, and I gather last night, several of the activists, including councillors, mid-tier party workers in North Central St. Andrew, made their way to Belmont Road and were determined to have audience with Dr. Chang. And you see there Dr. Chang speaking with about a dozen of them before allowing them to enter the building. Because the Labourites in North Central St. Andrew, Northeast Manchester, Central Clarendon are concerned, worried that somehow Dr. Chang and or the party leader, Andrew Holness, have unfinished business and it's causing tensions. Yes? There, we were able to get a leaked recording of some of the exchanges at Belmont Road.
Okay, let us go to Pastor number 2. Let us go to Pastor number 2 before I bring in the panel.
Mr. Delano, C-Rec was actually offered to take another seat. At the time, we weren't already interested in North Central in that, right? Because Mr. Samuda had discussion. I was not aware now of the party is aware. So the one that's really come and say, go to a party will be offered another seat. So I'm not interested in going there. And 3 weeks later, got involved with Mr. Samuda. Or at least it became public,
Okay, that's better.
That's where it was.
Just
right?
for clarification.
No, let them just finish it. So you have a clear picture of what I'm saying. At that point, discussion became a little bit up and down, right? We got social media cannot determine how the party operates, right? And a lot of discussion was taken to social media. I have discussions with Samuda. I can tell you now his host many Sunday evenings. I tell him to run back.
But Mr. Chang, wait then.
I can't tell Mr. Samuda what to do.
Mr. Chang, but me say you tell Mr. Chang say to resign and you come out public and say Mr. Sam to resign.
Yeah,
so that's how it comes up. Mr. Chang, come here, say you are push resign over Mr. Sam short.
You are assuming that.
You want to tell Mr. Flynn so me.
Regularly. Right? On a Sunday evening. You want more than that, so then we'll more than that. You can make another candle. Yeah.
So he didn't say a rural seat, he said a safe seat. Yes, a safe seat. And the party affairs will not be determined by what takes place on social.
Well, take it away. My Jamaican people, I am not even going to get into the narrative as it relates to that so-called argument of a safe seat. But even although they get Delano to make a 180 degrees turn, Jamaica people, bitterness still exists. Bitterness still exists. Let us hear what Delano has to say in response of what transpired as it relates to him making that 180 degrees turn, right, in terms of closing out his campaign. Let us hear what Delano has to say.
Good day. I am Delano Civrite. Greetings, my North Central St. Andrew family, and to all laborites and supporters across Jamaica and in the diaspora. First of all, a big thank you. Thank you for a spirited, people-first campaign that was filled with positive energy, love for community, and genuine commitment to service. The support, the encouragement, and the strength shown have been nothing short of inspiring. Let me say this clearly. No one, absolutely no one, is bigger than the party. And beyond that, no one is bigger than Jamaica. This is why we do what we do, because we choose Jamaica every single time. With that said, and after careful thought and consultation, we will, with immediate effect, suspend our campaign. While the momentum has been incredible, we acknowledge that it is becoming a distraction and giving space to those who seek to create this division and confusion. That is not our mission. We remain committed to unity, discipline, and focus, especially as we work toward a third term that will benefit every Jamaican, young and old, from every walk of life. This pause allows the party, including every delegate and every worker, the breathing room to help determine the future of North Central St. Andrew, a constituency that has been ably led by the Honorable Carl Samuda, whose legacy, service, and leadership continue to command our deepest respect. To the people of North Central St. Andrew, we are still here for you. This is our home. Our commitment to your well-being, progress, and empowerment does not change. Let us thank our leader, the Most Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness, who has shown remarkable judgment, restraint, and steady leadership throughout this entire process. He's an inspirational leader. He achieved the impossible, a rare gem, who encouraged me and many others to think and dream big.
Take him away. Andrew Holness is an inspirational leader. Take him away. Now, let me say something to Steve, right? Because you are now speaking about party unity. So let me ask you, prior to this, and when you decided that you want to canvass, right, for the seat, were you thinking about unity then? You're talking about unity now. That in order, right, to pull forward, right, you have to consider the unity within the party. Then why didn't you think of that before? When you decided to put out a challenge, you should have done that before. So then all of that, we know that is hogwash argument. Now let me go to the panel. Now, coming down in the last lap of a general election, Pastor Ricky, the political optics, right, doesn't seem right for the Jamaica Labour Party as it relates to the level of confusion that they're having, right, and unsettledness that permeated the party. Now, what say you as it relates to what has been unfolding there, because we still know that the Jamaica Labour Party, right, has not fully settled, right, some of those troubled constituencies.
Yeah, thank you. It shows that the Prime Minister lacked leadership. I mean, leading up to the local government election, February 2024, they underestimated the strength and the unity of the People's National Party within the leadership of Comrade Leader Mark Golden. Big up yourself, Comrade Leader Mark Golden. And GenSec Dr. Dayton Campbell. Big up yourself, Dr. Campbell. Remember, from 2022, when Don Anderson polls show that Comrade Leader Mark Golden was down 13% in the polls. And within a two-year period swing leading up to the local government election, there was a 22% or 23% swing around, where he now was up 9 percentage points above the incumbent government and the Jamaica Labour Party. If the Prime Minister was a real chess player, after the local government election, he would have started preparing for the general election. But his incompetency led him to start getting into semantics and theatrics and gimmicks and foolishness about whether Mark Golden was born in Jamaica, and all of these crazy things. His dual citizenship, where his father is from England, so by descent he automatically become a British citizen. That Section 39 of the Constitution allow him. It's allowable. It's permissible for him to serve in the Parliament, because England is the mother of the Commonwealth countries. But they wasted from the local government election all the way till June, when the beginning of hurricane season. That's when they stopped talking about his dual citizenship. So they wasted precious time that they couldn't retrieve. And then Beryl came the following month, disaster. We know the story. The economy continued to tank, and now we're in a recession. Moving forward, what this show also is that Delano is a betrayer along with the People's National Party, because he got the people excited and motivated when he threw his hat into the ring. And this is show you how the Jamaica Labour Party is, and their government is. They're quick to abandon you and turn, because the people went out, Sir Byron and Lady Anne-Marie and Sir Ratigan and everyone in the chat. The people were energized in that constituency. They were out protesting in the heat and the sun. Even last night, they went directly to Belmont Road and request a meeting with their general secretary, the criminal Chang, who should be in prison. And today he did an about face. So it shows you that if they're not loyal to their own supporters and party, they will not be loyal to the people of Jamaica. And we see that repeatedly, time and time and time. This government is an uncaring government. I don't care about Delano. I don't care about the Jamaica Labour Party, but we can discern, because we have the gift of discerning of spirit, that this party is about themselves. The Prime Minister is a coward. He's very fearful because he's about to get overthrown in his party. So he's positioning people that will support him when their party lose the general election. But it's unfair for Delano to juice up his constituency members and have them go out fighting for him and protesting, arguing, pleading his case why he should be the representative of their constituents, and then him turning about face and abandon them. They are a party that if they can abandon their own, my fellow Jamaicans, we have seen for the last 9 years how they have abandoned you. It's all about self-interest. Councillor Joyce said it best. Them sit on the for 8 year filling their craw. We see how the Prime Minister cannot explain his wealth to the Integrity Commission. His lawful income cannot justify his asset. We see the lies he told on his statutory declarations. When we investigated, Sir Byron did a great job on that. When we go back to 2018, 2019, and 2020, they left off asset that's pertinent information from his statutory declaration. Those declarations should be uncertified. And now he has 4 years because 2024 will not be certified. He's disqualified for being prime minister. So I'm just saying this to say that they use people. The Jamaica Labour Party used people. Now, whether he was under duress or whether he looked into himself and like the prodigal son and came to consciousness and said, well, I will arise and just step back. You know, it's up to him. But guess what? He threw his hat in the ring. So now it's either Samuda come back or the president of the Senate, son, little Tavares, Christopher, take the reins and run. But if he run, that's going to cause more disenfranchisement in the constituents because the people say they didn't want him to begin with. So in my estimation, in my analysis, it appears Samuda is going to come back. But he's in diapers. No disrespect to seniors. I mean, the man can hardly walk. You have to know when to exit the stage. You have to know when your time. Well, the greatest sprint running legend in the history of Jamaica said, but up on top, I win enough gold medal, represent Jamaica enough Olympics. A time for me exit the stage and pass the baton to another youngster. This man is still there at what, age 83? I mean, what can he do to help the people? We have a different movement in Jamaica right now. The People's National Party is a different People's National Party from previous administration of the People's National Party. No disrespect to Norman Manley. No disrespect to the greatest Prime Minister, Michael Manley, in my estimation. No disrespect to Prime Minister PJ, who laid a digital transformation foundation in Jamaica. No disrespect to Mama P, who also came and built on all of that. But this is a different People's National Party now, a party that is united. And as I said before, last point, when Jamaica is a PMP country, the People's National Party base is huger and larger than the Jamaica Labour Party. The only reason, and when the Jamaica Labour Party win, is when we stay home. And I say we because I'm a Michael Manley, it's a proud socialist. A socialist and a fool. Is when we stay home. But when we not stay home and we are revived, energized, and you know, we unite, them can't beat it. So guess what? Right now, it not care if Delano stay or go. It not care if Samatu stay, Samuda stay or go. It not care if Christopher stay or go. It no matter who them have in other constituency. Them now go win. No Jamaica Labour Party seat is safe at this minute. Not exactly. Prime Minister seat is safe. As much criminality that we are exposed and other bloggers and social media influencers and content creators and those in the space like Sir Ratigan beat them every Saturday and Father Lonesome every day and everybody, Bola and Anissa Belrose and Jay Stevenson, Shaka Fearman, everybody I beat them, Context Mother ISAT, Buchanan, everybody. So the amount of exposure them I get, them not GLP seat not safe. Don't make them fool in them party are dismantled, it's in disarray, and that's how they're gonna go out. And when the forensic audit takes place, enough of them are going to prison. I will say it again, the Prime Minister will be the first Prime Minister in the history of Jamaica to go to prison, and a lot of his MPs, Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Secretary, Councillor, the whole of them are going to prison behind him, and him alone.
All right, well said, and you have said it all, Pastor Ricky. Brother Ratigan, as it relates to, I mean, the final stretch, right, of the general election. Might be the next month, the next 2 months, the next 3 months. By September, of course, they have to decide. And what you are seeing now, the confusion is rolling out. How does it look for the political uptick, Brother Ratigan?
Well, my theme song is "Open Up Your Eyes and See for Yourself." And as my brethren Tigor reminded me today, that it's not just your physical eye, it's also this, your noggin, your brain. Process what you're seeing, right? It's almost like when you're listening, process what you're listening to. Because a lot of times, what you're seeing is not exactly what's going on. Here's why. The Prime Minister made it abundantly clear to us that he has technology on his side, that him know for find people, and so if you go back to that he has a technology to know to find people, you have to assume that he knows how to listen to people. And I think everybody knows on the panel and in the chat when we are talking about. It has come to my attention that the Prime Minister is using this technology on his own people, so that he actually knows what's going on. And think about this. He put this gentleman Seaga in the Senate this year, along with our editor. Put our editor inside there, right? And you have to think why. I mean, you just don't put people in these positions. There's a reason. It's my understanding that he put Seaga there precisely for this reason. He doesn't want Seaga to take a seat because there are only a few open slots, and they have handpicked people already for those slots. But Seaga is a very ambitious fellow. Too ambitious or too big for his britches. So him get the seat this year. Him get the seat. A few months ago, him get the seat, and all of a sudden him decide, no, I want to run for MP without getting the blessings of the people that he needs to have blessed him. So they have to rein him in. So what you saw tonight, was somebody who was whipped. The video you showed, somebody who was lashed, somebody who was taken to the outhouse.
Yes.
And put in his proper place. This wasn't him just getting up and say, hey, you know what? I think it was a bad idea. No, this was somebody forcing him to accept that it was a bad idea. And if you listen to the nonsense that he said about the unity and about the Prime Minister being an inspirational leader, and about people are trying to create dissension in the party, he knows the people trying to create dissension in the party. So this foolishness that he's talking about, people don't believe this nonsense. The other thing is, he mentioned about leadership. But here is something that he knows. We know. Everybody knows. The Prime Minister. You cannot associate leadership with the Prime Minister.
No.
You cannot associate leadership with
no.
I mean, it's a disservice to the word and the meaning of it. Yeah, you can't do that. And he knows that behind the Prime Minister's back, if you hear the things that they talk about the Prime Minister, they want to get rid of him.
Yeah.
The problem is that they don't have a long bench. Who they're going to select? If they say, well, get rid of him now, who they're going to put? Who they're going to put up? Who? Tom Tavares Finson? Bobby? Mr. Chang?
No.
Who they're going to put up?
Tough
yeah. Although the Minister Tufton, he's trying to develop his own little corner within the party, because he's hoping that at some point he'll be tapped to take over the leadership. And that was the plan. That was the plan all along, but he failed miserably over at the ministry.
Yes.
He failed miserably, and he continues to fail miserably. And it's in, everybody can say that. That one day you don't have to use your head. You can just use your eyes and see what's going on. The man is a colossal failure. So they don't have a deep bench. So they have to keep the Prime Minister. No, think about it. When somebody like Delano just say the Prime Minister is an inspirational leader, you have to say this man here, even if his own people, and I'm preaching to them now. You can't trust him either.
Here you go.
No, you can't trust him. Because if him come out and say that, and him know, and people, you've heard it many, many times, and you heard it tonight. You heard it from Lord Byron and you heard it from Pastor Ricky. The corruption that's at the feet of this man.
Yes.
28 bank book, Westcon investigation, statutory declaration investigation, Wycliffe Close investigation, and all of the things that he's responsible for. And when I say responsible for, every single act of corruption the Prime Minister is responsible for, people.
Yeah, the buck stop with
he cannot escape responsibility. And you know why? Because every single one of them people who commit the corruption, and him put them there.
Oh, yes.
Him put them there. Him can't run from that.
That's right.
Unit Petrojam, Royal Reed and the crew over there, so Ministry of Health and the crew over there, so Ministry of National Security, people, wherever you find corruption, just take my word for it. Take my word for it that the Prime Minister is responsible, because all of these ministers and all of these junior ministers, he is the one who selected it. Exactly, Lynette. Handpicked. Handpicked. So, listen, and I just want to give a big shout out to the PNPYO, because I've been saying that, where are they? I don't hear from them. And they put out an article today that was beautiful. The article that showed that, hey, this Prime Minister come out and say that we don't borrow. And Pastor Ricky, thank you, because actually I used it to me first. But you see the whole list, the only thing they need to do is show where he borrowed those money from. You know, they didn't put that. They need to put that, whether it's IMF or IDB or whatever.
Right here.
Yeah,
the IMF, the America Interdevelopment Bank, and the Caribbean Development Bank. Four incidents.
Yeah, well, they need to put that. They should have put that inside. And the other thing they need to put inside it is put the citation, so that if somebody wanted to go and look at it themselves, somebody say, well, we not believe them people. Then you go and you say, okay, here is where you need to go and find it. You know, here's where you need to go and find. And of course, you know, the 750 million during the COVID period, that you know that go already. So my Byron, I'm gonna sit back and I want to listen to the thing, but that's what I have to contribute towards that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Your favorite minister can't run, you know. Maybe I she the maga top. Your favorite minister.
No, she can't. She don't have it in her blood. She don't know. She's not a natural for this position. No.
All right. Thank you for that, Brother Ratty. Wonderful input there. So, Jamaican people, let us ready now for the deep dive that we spoke about, right? And would like Newton Amos to come in front of the class, you know. But we are going to show, as it relates to Jamaica Labour Party, pull back the curtain, right, of corruption, and look inside the Jamaica Labour Party and the lies, the venomous poison that being uttered from out of their mouth, which they all know that, you know, lies and deceptions and so forth and so forth. Now, let us listen to this, people, as it relates to what they are saying. That every time the Labour right try to fix this country, PNP mash it up. People, can you believe it? Can you believe this? Without any delay, wifey, let us get into this TikTok piece and let the people hear what this person has to say before we start to deal with Mr. Amos.
The PNP government is one of the wickedest government ever exists in Jamaica.
Okay.
Them try to mash up this country. Every time the Labour right fix it, them try to break it up. And in no circumstances we are going to allow that to happen. We build it, we're going to stay with it, and we're going to fix it even better than it is. Thank you.
Now, I don't think we should have spent any time on foolishness. Right, that is an old traffic, an old vehicle. You understand, running down the road with all four tires puncture. So we are not going to spend any time with him. Now let us move. That is an old vehicle running down the road with all four tires puncture.
That was a something about the old vehicle. The one vehicle said the honor took a while ago, and I just, it took like 2 hours, just one alone, the fee on. But here's the thing. The man crazy. The man come out and say, under no circumstances. What that mean? Let the people speak. What mean under no circumstances we're going to let it happen? That sounds like a threat to me. That sounds ominous. When them say under no circumstance, where them find them people are from, Mystic? Tell me, Pastor Ricky, where them find them people are from? And we can start with the Prime Minister.
They're all criminals in a Sir Ratigan. Them have to do some crime for him bring them to the party. Because him is a criminal.
Yes. Where them find them from? From the top come all the way down to the editor. Where them find them people are from? Where them find them people are from? Oh, by the way, if we're not mistake, I wrote to the editor and I asked the editor to come on this Saturday because we're going to beach access and environment. And I said to him, I would love to have you on as a spokesperson, but if you can't make it, then please send me somebody. He didn't answer. You ready? So I sent him another message again today. And I said, this is just a gentle reminder that we're still expecting you are a representative from the government of the party to show up on Saturday. So people say, I'm trying. So all of the people out there will cost me say a PNP program I run. See, I'm trying to get the members of the Jamaica Labour Party and the government to come, and they don't want to come. I can only do so much. Thank you.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, they don't have the goodwill because they know the questions that will be asked. And really and truly, they are in the red. So they're not going to come to expose themselves. Right? That's why they are hiding. Now, Mr. Amos, all right, we're going to deal with your business. Without any delay, let us hear what Mr. Amos has to say as it relates to, and let me say this before we get into Mr. Amos, right? And this is a warning that I'm giving out, and I'm exposing certain things. I'm definitely exposing certain things as it relates to Horace Shaw, Andrew Holness, James Robertson, Darrell Vaughn, Newton Amos. We know where you are going with this and what you wanted to do. But you know what caused the backfire? To the fact that there was a CCTV evidence that was there, people. If that CCTV evidence was not provided, you would have now seen Andrew Holness come out, right, and start to speak on how the People's National Party triggering violence, because that is how they set it up. So they push out Amos, right, to lead the way. And so now they will now support Amos. You will see Horace Chang going behind what Amos said. You will see Desmond McKenzie and all of them. This was the package plan that they have that really backfire, because what they want is to trigger political violence. They know that they can't win, and this is the reason now we have to discuss this. I am warning Jamaican people to understand that this backfire on them, and I want Jamaican people to understand the plan that they have, the plan that they have to create political violence and mayhem, because when you listen to Amos, you are going to hear Amos giving hint that if anything happened, right, then he has no control of it because it was planned and engineered. People, let us get into what Amos, and you know what I'm going to do, right? I am going to show the background of Amos corruption and how Babsy Grange continue to maintain Newton Amos to protect the Jamaica Labour Party status quo, corruption status quo. Amos, we have you with your hands in the cookie jar. Without any delay, let us hear what Mr. Amos has to say, the corrupter. And people, you know what I want to say here? You can just imagine how many innocent lives Amos wrecked by sending them to prison, right? And do all manner of evil. You cannot escape. Amos, you cannot escape from this. Because number one, you claim that you're an apex investigator. So what you have to say in terms of pulling back, because a CCTV now exposed you. You have been exposed because you now telling Damian Crawford that, okay, all right, and you're agreeing with Damian Crawford to say, okay, what you said is not true and you have heard it. So let me ask you now something now, Mr. Amos. So that is how you deal with investigation, here is said. And by you hear someone say something, you don't investigate, you come out and propaganda. That is what you do. You are telling us this is what you do, and we know who are planning the violence. We know that James Roberts is behind it. We know that Horace Chang is behind it. We know that Beryl Vaz is behind it. And we know that Angie Holness is the mastermind. Yes, we know that. Now, let us hear what he has to say. This piece of liar from the pit of hell. Liar from the pit of hell. Okay. All right, let us hear him to show you how dangerous and demonic this man is. How demonic several people under your leadership while you were in the police suffered from you, a vicious liar. Play this clip.
The question of political campaigning or campaigning in preparation for a general election is critical to a democratic process. And one of the things that my party, the Jamaica Labour Party, has always established, and we have as candidates adhered to, is to ensure that we carry out the rule of law and issues pertaining to the rule of law. Order, decency, and simple respect for each other is critical, even when we banter with the political issues that we face. And I would just like to state categorically that I have always run a campaign that I think is in keeping not only with the protocols and the policies of the Jamaica Labour Party, for which I'm a member, but the laws of the country. And I have been in the constituency for more than 8 years. I have run and lost 2 general elections, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the work that I have done in the constituency, and the work that my workers and the supporters and well-wishers have given to the party and to my candidacy. I've always respected my opponent. From I came in Mr. Bobby Pickersgill, and then Mr. Graham, and now we have Mr. Crawford. We have always conducted our campaign in a way that treats with respect and to accept that as leaders, we must at all times demonstrate a particular quality that will ensure that those we wish to serve will be guided by our own conduct and behavior. On Saturday night, last, I think that's the 3rd, I had a social for my workers and supporters along Grove Road in the vicinity of Scaley's business place. We started off because it was raining all day. So we started off somewhere after 4 o'clock. I got there minutes after 5 o'clock, and we were gathered together, having fun, meeting and greeting, and enjoying the atmosphere of togetherness and the atmosphere where JLP people meet and was communing one with the other. Sometime after 7 o'clock, while I was playing a game of dominoes, I was told that Mr. Crawford were on the scene. I didn't pay it any mind. I continued to play dominoes. And then he came over to where I was and he greeted me, and I greeted him. And I think that's the best way to do things, to act with each other in a way that our supporters, they themselves will emulate and to act among themselves despite the rivalry as such. I didn't take it for anything because I thought that he would have recognized that it was a JLP event and that himself and Mr. Herbert Garrix, the councillor for Linstead, who was on the scene, along with 4 others, 2 men who came with Mr. Crawford in his vehicle, and Mr. Garrix came there with a female and another man. However, they remained on the location, and to my surprise, Mr. Garrix, who was a justice of the peace and the councillor for Linstead, interfered with what he came and saw and told one of my supporters and workers that the music, which were all JLP music, that the music cannot be played there. And not only that, one of the gentlemen that came with Mr. Crawford in his vehicle turned off the music. Now, as a result of that, my supporters and workers became agitated and a skirmish developed in the bar. Now, I view this as an act of confrontation and an act of indiscretion by Mr. Crawford and Mr. Garrix. Mr. Garrix is a justice of the peace, and he's also the councillor. I have a good relationship with him over the years. When we have our extravaganza in Yorton at Widalco, he's invited and he comes there, he plays domino with us. So we have this kind of relationship as decent human beings. Now, if I weren't there, this could have resulted in something very bad. And it would have been as a direct result of the indiscretion and the stupidity of Mr. Crawford and Mr. Garrix, the justice of the peace. Now, some of my supporters became so agitated that they threatened to puncture the tires and to do damage to the vehicles driven by Garrix and Crawford. I prevented that. I de-escalated the situation. I have since reported the matter to the police, and I have reported it formally for them to act on the matter. I have reported the matter to the hierarchy of the JLP, and I'm making this announcement so that all Jamaica can hear what has taken place. I want the ombudsman to know what has taken place. I want the leader of the opposition to know what has taken place. Mr. Crawford is one of the main proponents who speaks on national security. He speaks on education. He speaks on finance. He speaks on culture. He speaks on everything good or bad in the country. And simply an area that could have resulted in a conflict where people could be injured or killed as a result of our political history of confrontation, came into an environment of his opponent with over 100 people and conducted themselves in a way and manner that I am now convinced is an act of confrontation. Let me be very clear. I have reported the matter to the police. I am making a public pronouncement because in the future, if such a confrontation takes place, I am not sure that I will be able to prevent what may have happened at Grove Road on Saturday night. If it happens again, I will be holding Mr. Crawford, Mr. Garrix, the leader of the opposition, as the ones who have started political or violence in the country whilst an election is being contemplated. We have never had it in St. Catherine Northwestern. I have never had to treat with a matter.
Piece of mess away. I want Jamaica to understand the plot that they want it clearly designed. I want people to listen clearly that he was speaking about the future as it relates to the violence. And so they were planning now to come out and PR this lie. They are planning. But I say to Jamaican people that Andrew Holness is 100% pure evil. This is full evidence. Now I have some question to ask Mr. Amos, but I need to play Damian Crawford clip and show you how Newton Amos had gone back on everything what you just hear. Unbelievable for Amos to concoct it, for Amos, James Robertson, Andrew Holness, and others to concoct a lie like this to cause political mayhem and to do what? Kill Jamaican people over your politics because you want to deceive the nation that you are not corrupted, and because you know that you are going to lose the general election. Andrew Holness, you really done something like this? Amos, you really done something like this? James Robertson and Gary Vard, you know you're behind this. The vicious lies that you people concocted to stir up political violence. Now let me ask you a question, Mr. Amos. You are talking about you are going to report to the political ombudsman. Who is the political ombudsman? What is the name of the political ombudsman? Talk to me. What is the name of the political ombudsman? It's to show you how vicious you are. And what you are exhibiting is the amount of lies that you have told and all the persons who you have arrested and put them through a system. You're a vicious and evilous man. But I'm going to make Jamaica hear, oh, you make a 180 degrees in terms of what we just listened to. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So Jamaican people must be weary. Must be weary of Andrew Holness, the demons, the Satan, and his angels. Now, let us play this clip on him. Right? Come forth, Damian Crawford. Come and speak the truth. And show the video how wicked this man is. Demons of hell.
Yeah, Jamaica, good afternoon. I'm making this video in response to a video I've been seeing circulating with former Assistant Commissioner Newton Amos making untruthful suggestions of actions that I would never condone nor never participate in. 99% of what Mr. Amos said is untrue, And I personally called Mr. Amos on Monday of last week, informing him that this was not true. He acknowledged and he also admitted that he didn't see any of the things that he was saying and suggested that it was
people. You hear what Damien Crawford said? That he called Mr. Amos, right? And informing that most of the things that he had said is not true. 98% of the things are false. But when he realized that there was a CC evidence, this man admitted that he was wrong. And I'm asking now Jamaican people, why the Jamaican Labour Party, because Amos, we know it is not you alone. Why the Jamaican Labour Party concocted a vicious lie like this, my Jamaican people? Why? To bring Jamaica in violence, in political violence, to bring back 1982.0. You have seen what the Jamaican Labour Party had done as it relates to the Hidden Tide Home. There is a vicious evil. Andrew Owens had gone beyond the extent of that. Andrew Holness, you are responsible for this lie. Play Damien Crawford again.
As a result of information that he received and that he did not see any of the things that he was saying.
Stop.
I asked him in that conversation, why would
he said that he made those statements based on the information that he had received. Well, Jamaican people, you know that that's a lie. He said he was there. And let me tell you what he said, people. He said he witnessed, right? Where Mr. Gummit went over and told the man to stop playing the music. He was there. So let me ask you this question, Assistant Commissioner. And now that you are taking a 180 degrees, right? Let me ask you this question, Commissioner. I want you to answer to the people. If you were there, what were the things that you had observed? Have you observed any of what you spoke about? Did you observe that? Did you observe any violence? Did you observe any form of situation that has the potential to lead up to violence? And as you said, if you were not there, the people that listen to you, you said if you were not there, things would have been escalated. This is how vicious. This is how vicious you are. But Mr. Amos, we know, say, and you alone concocted this. We know that this comes from out of the war room. We know that this comes from out of the war room. So we know very well that you alone concocted this. But you are vicious, and the Jamaican people caught you in the lie. And not only that they caught you in the lie, they see what the Jamaica Labour Party is planning as it relates to political violence. And let me ask about the 320 pipe bombs, because we know say uno sit down pan that in. We know say uno have that in. They are showing Jamaica who you are and what you are planning to do. Priya.
It be that as a former assistant commissioner of police, you would take hearsay and not investigate any at all? Why would you not have come to me, call me, and ask if any of that was true. Why would you, first of all, make a report and then make a video of things that was definitely not true? Therefore, what we will do in this video is to show video footage of the entire process of what took place, showing that we had no altercation, that nothing of the sort happened, and that there was no confrontation at all in that space. I can speak to certain matters of fact. First of all, that I came with no individual. I arrived from math classes on invitation to play dominoes. I arrived from math classes with my assistant only. The video will prove that to be true. That Mr. Garrix arrived by himself. The video will prove that to be true. That the JLP were having their fun while we played dominoes unbothered. The video will show that to be true. And that the actual proprietor of the bar was at the table playing dominoes with us. You will see from the video that we do not have on any political garment, and that none of what Mr. Amos has said is actually true. The JLP is depending on lies to win this election. So I was invited by the proprietors to play dominoes from Friday night at the bar. I indicated to them that I was preparing for the math classes that I have with the students, and that I would not be available until Saturday at 6. The agreement was made for Saturday at 6. I had no knowledge, no inclination, no information that Mr. Amos would be present at the bar.
This is a secret of the used car market, but many people still don't know it. For years, the car care industry.
So here you see us arriving at, the Suzuki Vitara, and you can see us arriving at about 6:10, 6:05 in the broad of day. It's clear that this isn't after 7. So we're arriving in the broad of day. You will see me driving myself, reversing to park. You will see me highlight from the vehicle. I am in the gray shorts and the white shirt. So no political color, because I was actually coming from class. My assistant there has come out, and you see me walking across the road there. Now you will see where I actually now close the car. You will see where I close the car, you see the blinkers go off. Still no 2 men. I don't know where Mr. Amos got this Crawford arrived with 2 men from. My assistant is now feeling quite aggrieved that she was mistaken not only for a man, but for 2 men. All right. So we're going to greet some individuals across the road. And here you see Mr. Garrix arriving by himself in his red shirt. There's Mr. Garrix there. He's closing his car. Nobody came with Mr. Garrix. So at this time, only 3 of us are present. Nobody came with me. That was a lie. No men came with me. That was a lie. And no male came with Mr. Garrix. That was also a lie. So the evidence from the video captured shows Mr. Garrix arrived by himself, and I arrived only with my assistant. None of us was politically clothed, nor prepared for any type of altercation.
And that himself and Mr. Herbert Garrix, the councillor for Linstead, who was on the scene, along with 4 others, 2 men who came with Mr. Crawford in his vehicle, and Mr. Garrix came there with a female and another man.
So additionally, you will see here Mr. Garrix by himself entering the bar, while I went through the other side to go and greet Mr. Amos. Mr. Amos and I had warm interactions. His camera person took the opportunity to video that, and I would ask for Mr. Amos to put that video out of our interactions, and I greeted the JLP persons on hand. Mr. Amos sat to play dominoes. I went across to the bar to play dominoes and was even offered a drink and food by the JP supporters. So there was absolutely no animosity. So here we are, we're playing dominoes. You can see me here with my back to the camera. You can see my locks there with my back to the camera. And across from me, shuffling is Mr. Garrix in the corner, blocked by the grill and everything. So Mr. Garrix could not have given any indication to anyone that the music cannot be played. As you can see, we're very unbothered. You can see the JLP, they're dancing. This fellow is putting up the V sign and they're dancing. We're still playing dominoes, we're unbothered. As was already proven, no male came with me, so no male that I came with could have turned off the sound. And Mr. Amos was nowhere in this space, in this vicinity at all. He was absent from this space. So Mr. Amos could not have heard or seen any of what he has reported. So they're dancing, we're playing, and it's going on. Now you can see here, the proprietor, the owner of the bar, gets up to suggest that let us keep it non-political and just keep it friendly. So this is the owner of the bar. He was playing with us. He was sitting at the table. And you can see me here saying, "Yo, come man, come," because I was indicating I had no problem with it. I was actually drinking a Heineken at the time. On Mr. Amos' bill, jokingly. So he gets up, he goes to the bar, and he seems to be indicating to them that, yo, change the music. None of that had anything to do with us. He came back, sat down, no altercation. There's no evidence. I would love for Mr. Amos to show where was this altercation that he's speaking of. Where was this altercation that erupted with 100 men? And I mean, the truth is, I don't know, Mr. Amos must believe I'm John Wick. How could I take on 100 JLP people with his opinion of only 4 men, which was not true. We had no men. So therefore, how would we have taken on 100 JLP people with just 2 men? Am I John Wick? So the truth of the matter is that everything that he has said is a lie. He knows it's a lie. And I'm challenging Mr. Amos to show the video of anything that he says. We have captured all of this. The bar has all the videos. Any news media that wants to interview the proprietors of the bar, they'll indicate that we were invited to play dominoes. We came, we only played dominoes. We interfered with no one, and nothing that Mr. Amos have said is true or actually happened. So as I said, I called Mr. Amos. I indicated to him that it was not reasonable for us to be going back and forth, and I asked him to correct it by removing the video, and he has not. In fact, what they have done is to promote the video and to act as if it is true, seeking to sully my character and to get, I guess, rile up his supporters. In my time in Northwest St. Catherine, nobody has been disrespectful to me. Nobody has been antagonistic to me, and I have not been antagonistic to anyone. It is not in my character to be so. And so we found it necessary to make the truth be known and to indicate that we have video evidence, and none of what Mr. Amos said is true. I challenge Mr. Amos to show his evidence or to apologize to the nation for having sought to create political disruption in lying so publicly. I really wonder to myself how many young men might be in prison at this time because of Mr. Amos' penchant for telling fibs and untruth. Because what he has done here cannot be the modus operandi of a senior superintendent or a senior police officer or a former assistant commissioner of police. Mr. Amos, please make this right.
Now, my Jamaican people, this is
high quality
embarrassing for the Jamaica Labour Party. Embarrassing, to say the least, for the Jamaica Labour Party. I want to ask Jamaica a question, because he's going to lose the 3rd time. Would Jamaica, knowing that this man is a diabolical liar, would Jamaica have this man represent them in Parliament? Would you have a diabolical liar represent you in Parliament? Now, let me start with you, Brother Ratigan. Not based on what you have seen there and how Amos concocted that lie. The way how he articulated, the measurable tone he used to convince. And in all of that, it is a damn lie. You have seen the evidence that Brother Crawford presented. What say you on the matter, Brother Ratigan?
You know, I'm reminded of the saying that there are three sides to every story: your side, my side, and the truth. And that's exactly what I just saw. The video was the truth. I mean, Mr. Amos gave his version, and Mr. Crawford gave his version, and then they've got a chance to look at the video. And the things that Mr. Amos said, at least on the videos, we didn't see it. I know what Mr. Amos, if I were Mr. Amos, I would seriously think about pausing my candidacy. I would do like Mr. Siv Wright. Because if I'm with my JLP folks and they can give video to this man as ammunition to use against me, then I can't trust these people. Because the video that Damien showed, they came from the proprietor. And you think it's a JLP community. It's frequented, but at the time they had over 100 JLP supporters. They're playing JLP music. They're doing everything. Everything is JLP. So how did he get the video? That means that Mr. Amos, them don't want Mr. Amos. Them don't want Mr. Amos. Mr. Amos, if you have any sense, and that's a serious question, right? Jeopardy right now, whether or not you have any sense. But if you have any sense, if I were you, sir, I wouldn't even bother with the JLP. I'd just say, look, I retire, I'm just go and I go sit down and raise some hog or chicken or whatever. But I wouldn't be out there talking about me around none of politics, because the people them just gave you up. Them give the video to Damien so Damien can come out and show that you're a liar. And that's the end of the story. There's not much more to say. We don't have to go back and forth and say, well, Damien said this and he said that. It's clear. It's clear from the video. Unless there are missing parts of the video that we haven't seen. And like Damien said to him, you present the video evidence showing something else happened. Present it.
Well, yes, thank you for that, Brother Ratigan. This is one of the reasons why you've seen where under the Jamaica Labour Party administration, right, they refrain from giving members of the police force cameras, body cams, because really and truly they don't like the truth. They are haters of the truth. Now, just imagine that if you didn't have this CCTV footage, right? You would have saw this. And let me tell you something. Andrew Holness was preparing to come out and sell this. Darren Vaz was preparing to come out and sell this. James Robertson was prepared to come out and sell this. Now, Pastor Ricky, let me tell you something. I know you're a pastor, but trust me, I don't think you're going to pray for them. Them not deserve no prayer. Them not deserve no prayer. No prayer can save them in a Pastor Ricky. Go ahead, Pastor Ricky.
Well, the truth is everybody can repent, and Amos needs
them can't repent, Pastor Ricky.
Repentance. But listen, to Damien, Comrade Damien, let me say this. Psalms 23 verse 4 says, yea, though you walk through the valley of the shadows of death, you will fear no evil. Honestly, my comrade brother Damien, I think you made a mistake by going there. They set you up, man. They laid a trap for you. But because the Lord is with you and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. If you did not have video evidence to substantiate your side of the story, we will heard a different spin. Remember, my comrade brother Damien, we are dealing with a party that is a criminal enterprise, transnational enterprise Jamaica Labour Party that's involved in money laundering, gun trafficking, human trafficking, and shower posse unaliving people from West Kingston to London, in America, Canada, and all over Jamaica. This is a criminal party. Seaga conspired with the CIA, and Trump just released the documents, but we knew about it long before Trump ever was running for president. We knew about this many, many years ago, that the CIA conspired with Seaga to destabilize Jamaica, to bring in guns and violence and crime, and unaliving 153 seniors, ladies in the Eventide firebomb. This is a party that do their arsoners, them Bundong building, Bundong market, Bundong everything. This is what the Jamaica Labour Party is about. They're all pathological liars. From the Prime Minister, a member of parliaments, him senators, him all the way down to him bloggers and supporters. They're all pathological liars. Listen, Damien, let this be a teachable moment for you and all members of the People's National Party. They unalived 2 People's National Party MPs in Portland. Bloomfield was one of them. Them poisoned them. Okay? Dr. Dawes last year, who's going to be the next health minister, them set him up for poisoning too. You cannot trust these people, man. I mean, me here in the phone, I say we're on labor rights, a friend. Labor rights is not your friend. Labor rights wicked and evil. These people, if them can set you up for unalive you by using a woman, by using food, by pulling the trigger, them with our bundong somewhere, them would do it. I saw them steer. The history is there. And we not talk about what we hear, we talk about what we witness in the 79, 80s days. These people are cruel, cold-hearted, and wicked and evil. So, Comrade Damon, you better count your blessings, man. Like the song said, one by one. And because if the Lord was not with you, imagine what them would have said. Imagine them would have turned this thing into a You hear what Amos said? He said this is an act of confrontation. I think he meant to say this is an act of war. And then he subscribed what he said happened that we know did not happen with political violence from the 80s. Am I lying? He said it in the video. So it show you their mindset, their train of thought, that they were intended to set you up, to brew up some kind of political backlash. For say you come a for them place, for them event. This is why the People's National Party need to stay away from these people. When I say, well, they're my friend, they're not your friends. Stop being too nice, man. You can't treat criminals and pet them like a cat as if they're tender and soft. These people are evil, wolf in sheep clothing. And so you can't, and then the next thing they man do, I'm a vex about, man, but the man sit down and play a domino and turn him back to the door. You cannot turn your back to the door because you now have the eyes in the back of your head and you don't see who are coming out of the building. If you're going to play a domino, make sure you turn your face to the front where you can see and watch movement at the same time I play it. You're a comrade. If them could have set you up for take you out, they would. You hear what I'm saying? There was an uprising and they were getting ready to slash car and mash up car. That means you wouldn't escape. You wouldn't have nowhere to leave. And when people had chip, no telling what they would have done. You hear what I'm saying? You could have been killed. Amos said it out of his mouth. These people are wicked, man. And I think this is a teachable moment. And anybody in the People's National Party don't agree with me, fine. But listen, man, we're on the brink of a general election that has consequences, the most consequential election in the history of Jamaica. They know they're going to lose. The writing is on the wall. Their party is divided and it's fractured, it's broken, infighting and power struggling. So them are plan, strategize schemes how not only to disenfranchise the voters or suppress the voters or use international interference with the Chinese, the Americans, the Russians, or the Israelis. They're planning. But we have to be one step ahead of them. This is not the time to talk about we and them, my friend. This is the time to keep your distance and champion on your turf. Let your work speak for you. Just like we don't need to go out and prove nothing to nobody. The life we live speaks for us. So let your campaigning and the works you put in, let that speaks for you. Undecided voters are watching you. Labor, disenfranchised, disgruntled labor rights are watching you. And people who never vote, maybe go vote for the first time in Northwestern Catherine is watching you. So guess what? You don't have to go there and mingle with them. They're your enemies. They're your enemies. And if you have a video evidence to substantiate that this man was lying, a pathological liar, and this is why we have to get rid of the High Commission of the police. They're all corrupt and political aligned. The commissioner needs to go to prison. And because you cannot trust these people, how many youths them kill and tell lie upon them and say a shootout? I mean, look at all them gone, 116 already, 117 youth them killed from the year start. This has been going on for far too long. A man of that caliber who supposed to be a SSP or a commissioner, former deputy commissioner of police, his character should have been way above what they're planning. But because of desperation, because the writing is on the wall, because the walls are closing in on the prime minister and his cronies to go to prison, Damien has been speaking out. He's very, very profound, deep. He's very articulate. I watch all of the presentation when he speak at, and his plans, education. I mean, his plans about feeding the children in school. His plans in ensuring that at least one person in every family get a first-year degree. I mean, you think them not nervous? These people want to get rid of everybody, the peoples. I'll come with leader Mark Goldie. You got to watch yourself, man. These people are not your friend. And anybody that go around these labor rights, don't eat, don't drink, not bring your own water like Justice Seymour Panton. You cannot trust these people. And I turn it back over to you.
Pastor Ricky, I mean, listening to you saying all of that, I 110% agree with you, because I am surprised as it relates to, Damian Crawford did not take as much care, right, in terms of his surroundings. I am at a loss, right, where that is concerned, right? And, Damian Crawford, highly intelligent, very educated, and I mean, look, you have to be cognizant of the time.
But Sir Byron, them could have killed, them could have, God forbid, them could have unalive him and then come tell a story. And if we never have the cameras running, we wouldn't know the truth.
It's I mean, I'm just asking Mr. Crawford to be more minded of where you go and so forth, and who you align yourself with. Right? That's all I am saying where that is concerned. No, my Jamaican people, let us reflect.
Let me add one quick thing there.
Go ahead.
Both of you are right in the sense that he has to be more aware of his surroundings. You can't go to a place like that and you don't have a backup. You don't have any backup. Now you see where he sat, Pastor Ricky. It never make a difference where him sit, because you know what? If he sat on the other side, guess what? There's a grill right there. Behind him. The guy who sat in front of him, there's a grill behind that guy. So if somebody do want to take any kind of action, them could just come behind him and do it right beside the grill. He has to be more careful about his surroundings.
Exactly.
I think what happened though, I think because he was invited by this gentleman whom he believed to be like a jail. I think, you know, in the spirit of garnering votes, and probably say, well, you know, there's a JLP guy invite me. Well, no one can go play some domino thing. But to some degree, I think that's a bit naive. You know,
exactly.
I think it's naive, and you know, I don't know if you know Pastor Ricky. I know somebody close to him, but I need to talk to him a bit more about this because he also said something that was kind of troubling to me. He said that they offered him food and drinks.
Yeah.
He didn't say whether he ate, but he said he was drinking a Heineken. I would be careful about that too, because also remember that we talk about one of the places where they hide bodies, you know, is in a category called poison food.
Poison.
Yeah. So if they poison in Jamaica, you're dead. It's not murder. It's just poison food. That's one of the categories.
I hope you can go by tonight. The categories again. Because Damon is a smart, articulate, brilliant young man with a great future, but him could have lose him life. Honestly, we now wish that Comrade Damon, but the way labor rights are, me not trust none of them. Trust me.
All right.
And then he was there until nightfall. Remember I'm saying him get there in the evening, but he was there until nightfall. You know, and he just did it with his assistant and the guy. Just the three of them. And remember, he said there had about 100 JLP supporters there at night, and they have to cross the street and go in the parking lot. Right? Damien, be very careful. Very careful.
Be very careful. Be mindful of your surroundings. That's all I'm saying. All right. Let us back up in terms of some of the things that Lad Amos spoke of. Lad Amos said that Jamaica Labour Party always ensure order and decency during the campaigns for general election. Have you heard that, Pastor Ricky? Can you imagine? Jamaica Labour Party always ensure order and decency, always demonstrate a particular quality to respect their opponent. Okay. Let me show Amos, the Jamaica Labour Party, how they respect their opponent. Without any delay, let us show Amos how the Jamaica Labour Party respect their opponents. Let us show, and I hear him calling out for the ombudsman, right? Well, we the call out for the ombudsman too. Now, as I come to you, Mr. Amos, that Jamaica Labour Party always ensure order and decency during general election campaigns and always demonstrate a particular quality to respect their opponent. According to you, Lad Amos, I want you to read this. PNP backs legal action over removal of political ads in St. James. You remember this? Lad Amos. Lad Amos. The People's National Party has shown full support behind 3 of its St. James candidates, Dr. Andre Arton, Senator Janice Ali, and Alan Bernard, who have filed for leave to apply for a judicial review in the Supreme Court against decisions of the St. James Municipal Corporation to remove political advertising in the parish. You remember what this Amos? You run come out with a dirty nasty lie there about Jamaica Labour Party always demonstrate a particular quality to respect their opponent. You don't remember nothing about this. The 3 PNP candidates have described the removal of their campaign material as a blatantly unlawful act by the corporation. You don't remember that, Amos? On Tuesday, the candidates filed the application seeking 6 orders from the Supreme Court. These include leave to apply for judicial review of the SJMC's decision to remove their political billboards. A reversal of that decision, a writ of preventing further interference, and an order of mandamus compelling the return and reinstatement of their signage. They are also seeking damages for abuse of authority by the municipal body. So, Lion Amos. You hear me, Lion Amos? Eh? But GLP always demonstrate a particular quality to respect their opponent. You never know till we have this. All right, take this away on it. I'm going to finish it with him yet, you know. Outer and bright, wicked and lie and deceitful. Can you imagine how much people they are prison? You understand? Innocently, as it relates to this man convicting them. Eh? Can you imagine? Let us get into this police investigation. Let us show more evidence here. Now you come. When you come talk and pretty up, try to articulate the lies like what you normally do. Right throughout your career, that you articulate lies and send many innocent youth right in peril. Right? Many innocent youth in peril. This is what you do. Dangerous, vicious. And this is one of the reasons why you had lost, right, 2 attempts to become a member of parliament, and you are going to lose the term. And this time it is going to be worse in terms of what you did here. You're a vicious and horrible and despicable person. Right? Let me say it again. Right? You're a vicious, despicable person. No one can trust you.
But Sir Byron,
these lies.
Yeah.
If you are telling these lies, how are you going to? How are you going to? Right? Yes. Yes. How are you going to represent the Jamaican people? Eh? You are going to represent them on the basis of lies. Right? Because you are diabolically mandacious. You're a vicious liar. Now, let me just prepare the people a minute. Because we know the viciousness of the Jamaican Labour Party. So my Jamaican people, let me go give you some warning right now. Here it is. Hundreds of suspected explosive discovered in Western Kingston. So let me ask you, Amos, you know about this? You don't know about this. You know, the Jamaican Labour Party always ensure order and decency. Yeah? Do you know about this, Mr. Amos? Hundreds of suspected explosive discovered in Western Kingston.
And Buff Bay too.
Giant police military intelligence operation led to the discovery of more than 320 devices that are suspected to be explosive. I do not plan for use. More find out. You know, it do not plan for use at a premise on Darling Street in the Kingston Western Police Division on Monday, October 16. Take it away, Yoni. You never know about this. Eh? You know about this? Eh? That's why I said you represent right corruption, and you are there to protect the corruption status quo. That's what you are there for.
Yeah.
Right? Now, remember.
Sir Byron, I'll just say this real quick. 2 weeks ago, it was reported in the news that in Buff Bay, and I have it on my TikTok page and my Facebook and IG page, 1,042 sticks of dynamite was discovered in Buff Bay.
Yes.
So, and they're planning, whatever they're planning. That's why we have to keep praying and praying for Jamaica, because they're planning violence. And here the last thing he said that the next time Senator Crawford come there and any confrontation, him them are gonna blame for whatever happened, and whatever happened can be serious, and them are gonna blame Comrade Leader Mark Goldiness. He said it. Amos said it at the end of his video. So they're planning something, and you know, we just have to, in Jamaica, the space of Jamaica, be very extremely alert, sober, and vigilant, and be very extremely careful, because 1,042 sticks of dynamite, that's a serious thing. I'm gonna send it.
We know that they are planning. We have the data now. We know that they are planning. Now, let me say this, Pastor Ricky. Right? And let me appeal to Damian Crawford. Damian, listen to me. Please take this as a serious warning. Please take this as a serious warning. Right? We could have lost you in the process. We could have lost you in the process.
Yeah.
Right? So what I am saying to you, Damian, that you need to take sleep and mark death. Be careful, Damian. Right? Be careful. Let us show Jamaica the viciousness of the art of the Jamaica Labour Party, evilous corruption, and remind Jamaica that no one looking forward, we are definitely hyper alert, anticipating any movements of violence. So let me give this Jamaica as a memory lane that we are going to take. And this next clip, let us play the Eventide Home Massacre to remind our Jamaican people that we are going to be hyper alert, looking for every movement that the Jamaica Labour Party is making between now and the general election, because they are searching for something to create the mayhem, right? Wanting to call off the general election, to give Andrew Holness time, but there is no time. Whether Andrew Holness want to have time, 10 years, blah, 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 no matter what, the Jamaican people done with him. The Jamaican people turn their back on Andrew Holness' thieving administration. I mean, I said clearer. You understand? I am telling you as it is. The Jamaica Labour Party is a criminal network. I'm afraid to say it. Go and play the clip.
In the morning of Tuesday, May 20, 1980, 4 suspicious men moved along Slipen Road in the Kingston 5 area. Soon the men made their way onto the property of the Eventide Home, a government-operated facility for poor, disabled, and old women. The 4 men came with deadly intention. What these men were about to do was to create an unimaginable crime that would shock the nation at its core and leave a stain in the history of the island. About 5 minutes past 1 a.m., the 4 men closed into their target. The Eventide Home, opened since 1870, consisted of 3 buildings. That fateful night, the 4 men targeted only one of the buildings, the Myers Ward, where the women were staying in. With quiet steps, they approached it. They had already planned on one course of action: to destroy the building and its occupants with fire. Inside the old boarded building, over 150 elderly women were peacefully resting, most sleeping, others just lying awake. A mixture of poor and old women in the care of the government. Some were blind, some too feeble to move by themselves, others suffering from some form of old age infirmities. The elderly women have had their dinners the previous evening and were simply resting in bed for the next day's activities. 1:10 a.m. A sudden rush of fire gripped the building. As the fire burned at the structure, it produced stifling smoke, first alerting the occupants who were already awake. Shouts of fire could be heard. The fire, which started at more than one section of the structure, rapidly engulfed this two-story building, burning out of control and puffing wild, thick smoke. The peaceful night at Eventide home burst into a night of horror. Tormented by the stifling smoke and getting roasted by the blazing fire, 145 voices of screaming old women went up to God. But heaven gave no response. An urgent call was made to the nearby York Park Fire Station, which responded quickly with a group of firefighters to battle the blaze. But it was too late for the 145 helpless elderly women. The raging fire had already consumed them. Their screams were no longer heard. They have all perished. Only few of the women survived. Some of them who were dragged from the flame earlier later died at the Kingston Public Hospital, increasing the total number of deaths to 147. News of the fire swept across Kingston and St. Andrew and the rest of the country. Prime Minister Michael Manley, leader of the nation, rushed to the location along with a young PJ Patterson and a mixed crowd. For the entire day, Slipe Pen Road drew the attention of many. Lost was estimated at 150,000. A price could not be placed on the lives which were lost.
Okay, only take it away. Just traveling down memory lane, right? Warning our Jamaican people.
I just sent you the dynamites they found. I said Buff Bay, so I correct myself. It's not Buff Bay, it's in Bull Bay, St. Thomas. I just sent it to you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So just reminding Jamaica of what had transpired as it relates to what the Jamaica Labour Party orchestrated in the 1980 killing innocent people, right? And many of those were elderly ladies, the viciousness and the wickedness. But let us talk about some another evil of it as it relates to Andrew Holness. And I'm telling Jamaica that Andrew Holness finds himself in a higher level of evil, land grabbing, and also, right, selling out our beach properties. Yes, to their friends, their elites, and denying Jamaicans access to the beach. This is big. And so then, while Andrew Holness and his kleptocratic government seeking to enrich themselves by selling out our sovereignty, pushing the Jamaicans poor backwards, that they have no right to access their beaches. They have no right to gain access to what our ancestors had fought for through sweat, blood, and tears. An imperialistic, a colonialist laws that entrench in our constitution that denied our people true access. The Jamaica Labour Party administration under Andrew Holness. People need to go and do the history. Under Andrew Holness government, Andrew Holness sold out most of those beach properties But here Andrew Holness now in Parliament acting as if he's fighting for Jamaicans to have beach access. I am telling you the viciousness and the wickedness of these demons. That these demons will face you and look you into the eyes and speak to you in terms of what you want to hear. But his actions contrary to what he speaks. This is a deceiver. Now, let us get into beach access. Right? And here, Andrew Holness, for yourselves. Listen to him, my Jamaican.
Upgrading a number of beaches across the island for public access. The existing Fantasy Beach Park in Priory St. Anne will be developed into a parish beach park similar to the Harmony Park in Montego Bay. The government will be upgrading another 9 free community beaches this year. Beyond 2024-2025 budget year, we will develop the Boston Beach Park in Portland. And we will do a major beach park in Negril. So others talk about beach access. We actually give people beach that they can access. Yeah, they give you the words, we give you the beach. And we have never sold a beach.
This man is diabolically mendacious, lying, vicious, and wicked. Now, let us get down to the truth. Right? Let us hear this next clip. I play one more, and then I engage the panel. Right? So here he is talking about 9 other beaches for access. But yet, that is such a lie. Right? Selling out all these properties to his friends, elite friends, and marginalized our Jamaican people. And so then when you look at this, right, it is just really and truly sad as it relates to what the Jamaica Labour Party administration is doing to the Jamaican people. Very vicious.
You ready?
Yes.
In relation to beach access, Mr. Prime Minister, you said a little earlier on that our public access really is the structure of our law. For all practical purposes, though, it is, apart from perhaps prescription and easements, all the law does, you can come in through the sea onto the foreshore up to the high water mark, which is useless for most people. I'm saying this to say that I understand from Mr. Vaz that a draft beach access policy has been completed, is to come to cabinet by September. I'm wondering whether you are actually, though, open to the idea of amending the law itself to allow for meaningful access, which does not now exist, and whether this is going to be given priority, because we've been talking modification of this policy and law for years.
I'm going to answer your question, but Minister Vaz, would you want the opportunity to just update on the access policy?
Switch it to Vaz, because you know Allah Yatem.
I think Dion and I have had this discussion off air and several other journalists. There is a beach access policy that is now in front of cabinet because of what has transpired over the last few weeks. I'm intending on taking it as soon as the recess is over. The issue that you raised a while ago will be deliberated because that's a major issue in terms of the access to the beach, and you are correct in what you indicated. But it is not, it's something that has been going for quite a bit of time, and the time has come now for it to be dealt with. And as soon as it is deliberated, we will make it public. And if there's requirement for further consultations based on cabinet directives, we will do so, because what we want is a holistic policy that works for everybody, works for the investor and works for the public. Thank you.
Especially for the investors.
Jan, let me say, I don't want to preempt what the cabinet may decide, but I did make a statement which is an expression of how I feel about this beach access issue, which I think that it would identify with the sense of the average Jamaican. So whatever influence I wield on cabinet, it would be along the lines of what I've expressed, which is that, you know, I feel that Jamaicans must have access. And the policy, I'm certain, will raise some of the issues that would go towards what you term as real changes and amendments. So I suspect that the debate will, within the context of the cabinet, move towards some amendments to the legislation.
Ratty, I want to ask you a question based on what the Prime Minister just said. As it relates to granting access to the beach, right? Does the Prime Minister have to go through the cabinet to get approval for that? I want that answer me on that, Ratty.
No, under the Beach Control Act of 1956.
Yes.
My recollection is that the Prime Minister can, with the stroke of a pen, the Prime Minister can make some changes to that.
So he's lying. He's lying.
Yeah, and also, you know who's in charge of enforcing that? Police Commissioner. The bill specifically says the Police Commissioner. Once the Prime Minister says, okay, you have to put up, tracks so that people can get to the beach, then the Police Commissioner is required to make sure that the easement is respected. Also, another thing with the double speak. Here, the Prime Minister said, "I never sell a beach," and you the people say, "Yeah, we don't sell no beach." People, we have to understand this. You don't sell beach. What you sell is you sell the land around the beach, right? And what you do is you prevent access to the beach. So if you never sell the beach, but if you sell the land around the beach, how do you get access to the beach? You have to come from the water side, and that's what Dion was saying. So yeah, you can still do it to get to the foreshore, but the problem is that we'll have to get a boat and go out and then come round and come in, and it's foolishness. So again, this is the same thing like when him said there have been no new taxes, right?
Exactly.
And I said, yeah, but there have been increase in taxes.
Increase in taxes.
Yeah. And again, people, him said this because him know what you're thinking, and him know when him say it, how you go and process it, because you process it. When him say, I've never sold a beach, you say, oh, so what we are complaining about? What we're complaining about? He's never sold a beach. People, he sold the land around the beach, thereby depriving us of access to the beach.
Yeah.
So if you sell it to a developer, what I should have asked him is that, okay, since you've never sold a beach, have you sold lands, beachfront property? Have you sold beachfront property? Because if you've never sold the beach, does that mean that we can use the beach? Does that mean? And guess what? No, you can't use the beach, because once you sell the beachfront property under the Beach Control Act of 1956, them own it. So again, this man is. But the thing is, him can't fool we around here. Him can't fool we around here. Come here, people say, oh, I'm slick and this and that. It depends on who you talk to. Him not slick for us because we can parse through words. We go to school. We know the meaning of words, and we know how. And not only that, we know the political speak too. We're very, very, experienced in that realm. We know when when a politician say yes, we know if it means yes or no or maybe. We know. We know. So no, but yeah, the question is that to answer the question again, no, the ministers have a very pivotal role to play, and they can change all of this if they want to. They can change.
All right. Pastor Ricky, let me go to you. What you have to say about this?
Yeah, I endorse Sir Ratigan's summation on this, because the beach access of 1956, I mean, when you look at the Blue Lagoon and all of the beaches where them take off from the people, and even right now people are protesting at Portland, and yet you have a minister of energy and transportation and technology that's going to stand there and lie in front of the reporters and know that he's lying, that this is a very serious issue and we're going to deal with it after the session is over. And yet today, as we're speaking, people still does not have access to the beach. A comrade friend of mine called me last Friday morning and was telling me that there's 3 constituencies in Montego Bay, St. James, that right now don't have any water, and the Harmony Beach is people around that area is suffering from lack of water. So this is a wicked, evil, brutal, corrupt government, and this bro devil that them call bro God, he's a devil, does not care about the well-being, the life. Listen, for leisure times, like next week Friday, our holiday, Labor Day. Normally, we grew up as youth of Jamaica. Well, me come from East Kingston, so but I gone out a gunboat or Cigani or one of them. But nevertheless, we from Jamaica, we know say right now, beach are one of the things that more people enjoy for relaxation, you know, and after a hard week of working and holiday time, everybody want to go beach. But today, the government take on the beach. This is something that only need for make gonna go to the ballot and vote them out. I mean, the lies what them tell, and then him always run out and try preempt a story like what we seen over the weekend with the young 9-year-old girl that got, you know, her innocence taken and unalive. Yet him run gone out and say, "Oh, the time has come for us to think about releasing the sex offenders registry." Why? Because they want to take away the narrative from everybody, and that's what he's doing with the beach access thing. Taking them, and they never do what they say they're gonna do. So this prime minister cannot be trusted. He has a trust problem with the people of Jamaica, and every promise that he made from 2016 till present has not been fulfilled, and they need to vote him out because he's a pathological liar, a deceiver. Him take people for idiot, but like, and I try insult we intelligent, like so we drop out of school, but like Sir Ratigan say, where say otherwise Sir Ratigan, mama raise you, but mama not raise fool, something like that. And like now Michael Mann is a socialist, not a fool. So him can't fool we like Sir Ratigan. They play with sentences and play with words, but with them on top of everything with them.
You know, Pastor Ricky, where you say them have no water again, you know, St. James?
St. James, yeah, Montego Bay. Harmony.
All right. And you say everything that them promise, them not deliver nothing.
Right.
All right. Well, me know who watch your program, me know, Mystic. Me know one person watch your program. If nobody else don't watch it, no, the editor watch your program. You know?
Yeah, we know that.
The editor watch your program. And one the editor knows said, in the manifesto, what them say? Them said they're going to upgrade and expand the desalination plant that's located in Moses Lake near Ferry, where them convert brackish water. And they said that they're going to build desalination plants along the coastline. Now you say St. James, if they build a desalination plant on the coastline, they wouldn't have no problems. But people, them take off your idiot because you do not build desalination plants inland.
Right.
You build desalination plants on the coast so you can convert salt water into fresh water. Exactly. That's where you put the desalination plants. So I don't know where them people are come from. But one thing I can tell you, some serious money get chopped. Because if they put the desalination plants, and up to now, by the way, Mr. Editor, I'm going to respond to me 25 questions regarding the desalination plants yet. I'll wait for them to come answer me now. Because you have to come tell me now why you put the plants there, who built the plant, how much money they get the plant, was it advertised, what's the production of the plant, has the plant ever been serviced, has the plant inoperable, all of them things don't have to come answer. So I agree with you, Pastor Ricky. I agree with you that they make all kinds of promises and them say all kinds of things. But your mother said, your mother said, my phrase your mother said, him don't watch the noise in the market, him watch the results. We need to play that back and make him hear that, you know. And so, where the results there, where the desalination plant?
Where's the beef? Where is the beef?
Where's the beef? Right? Yeah.
Where's the beef?
Yeah. Or as one of the would say all the time, she said the beef, but you know, you're the sizzle. You know, you know, cook.
These people, man, my God.
All right. All right, let us get to our final clip for the night, right, as it relates to the disgruntlement of the Jamaican people relating to beach access. Yes, let us get that, and then of course we can open the line for 10 minutes. If no one responds, then we just ask Brother Ratigan and Pastor Ricky to close the line.
Access to the nation's beaches.
No right. According to the Beach Control Act of 1956, a legislation that was passed in the Parliament of Jamaica when Jamaica was not an independent nation. 1962, we became independent. This law was passed in 1956. It has been 69 years since a legislation exists on the books in Jamaica that says we, the people of Jamaica, have no right to the beaches. It says the beaches are property of the crown, and no man shall have any right in or over the foreshore and the floor of the sea. It translates into we don't have the right to swim, we don't have the right to bathe, we don't have the right to fish, and we don't have the right to walk along the foreshore. That is a law in Jamaica, believe it or not. And that's what we are protesting against. That we, the people, cannot live in a democratic country where we don't have the right to access the sea and use the sea.
So, Stad, I mean, clearly, under the Jamaica Labour Party administration, we are, slowly losing our sovereignty, right? And that is really serious, right? The Jamaican people, right, need to get access to their beach, and that is plain and simple, right? Our sovereignty has been slowly, right, eroding by this Jamaica Labour Party administration, selling out the beach front properties, and in so doing, right, denied access to the beach, marginalizing the Jamaican people. Unfair. And let me just open the line for 10 minutes. And people, call in, man. Pastor Ricky is on the set. Ratigan is on the set. Yeah, man, call and speak to any one of us. Right? Byron is on the set. Anne-Marie is on the set. So...
but Sir Byron, the previous clip you played was from 2018, and the Minister of Transportation, Technology and Energy said that they're going to work on legislation. That was 2018 to now is what, 7 years? That was 7 years ago.
All right, and hold on a Pastor Ricky. Hold on a Pastor Ricky. See, Sister Pat calling us. Yes, Sister Pat, we're there. Right?
Good night. Yes.
Ratty, how are you there? Sister Pat, I beg you some.
fire, man. Keep with me. Well, some fire in my stomach and blaze out.
Blaze it, sister.
Yes. Listen me now. Number one, Amos. Amos. You know, sister, your whole mash up like them one time Joey's boss. No. Everybody in Jamaica and diaspora know Damien Crawford. Damien Crawford is not a young man, that's a problem.
True.
And you come to this young man named Laugh. No. What example are you setting? Nobody no want in a Northwest St. Catherine. Your time come, guy go down with your grandfather them. And just extend your argument that you're going to call Mark the genius. Let me tell you something. Mark Jefferson Holding is an upstanding man, is a married man, he's not dead man. You don't have nothing for him. Come off a Mark Holding back. When you don't like Ghana, he will be the next Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Right, the same.
Okay?
Right, the
So
same.
play down where I push one thing. This is not 1980, 79. This is 2025. 99% of Jamaican people are work with computer every year. Okay?
Yeah.
So people are wake up. The few people we attached to Labour Party, and the belly as them. Okay? The belly as them. So when you come out with your narrative, I just imagine the amount of people where they are in prison and the amount of people where you kill and tell life on. And in a year twilight, you just still tell life on people.
Jesus.
Eh?
Yes.
In a twilight, you still read them. Say it's in your DNA.
Exactly.
And right? And to Damien and the whole entire PNP crew, be careful. Don't make not even me invite you nowhere. When I keep a town I'll meet now me want come, me come. No go nobody here. Now I'm not going to see nobody. If someone in your country is 20 dead and you want to pay homage, you go. But you go with your security. No matter nobody give you no soup, not even one with your water. Okay?
No joke.
Because people in Jamaica are hungry, nothing, and they will take money and you. When the earth happened, they said Jesus Christ. But because of the money, because all the jail party have money to take bribe people. Okay? No stuff to shut off and nobody. The arms of flesh will fail you.
You dare not trust your own.
God give you visions to look. Right? Please walk with your water. Do like Mr. Panther. Don't turn your back to nobody. You must always cover your back. Okay? Next thing. In the case of the rape and kill of the little girl, as a mother, I feel it, I felt it. And I just imagine the hell that child have been through. Frankly speaking, we as mature woman, we have our husband. Sometimes when we are playing, he can rough so sometimes depends on the mood. So just imagine what the child have been through. Oh, learning from Mystic and the great Ratigan, we are looking to others. Where the law and the Constitution is. No, this man has been raped, have been doing it up, and been all charged, sent to prison. That judge will touch that man from bail after the years of window. And he do it again and to make me understand. This is his sixth time. The first one was 2013 with his own cousin at the age of 12. And you know how to rape her. He take up just to beat her. So them have if the system is working as well, Ratigan is supposed to have a lap on them. The judge, somebody's supposed to present the file to the judge, and the judge see from 2013, 20, whichever, come down. See what this man is charged for. And if a man can, a 1-year-old baby, molest a 1-year-old baby, how you let him out back? The next thing, the government has failed us. Why you don't release the sex registry? So that if you know your community, and people migrate from town to country, from parish to parish, you can't stop that. So when you see a stranger, if he is on the registry, something you must know. I said, well, if I want them too. So you start to fix up yourself and go see him and talk to your kids and you do something. So if you see me come and tell too much good morning, you go make you know, say, brother, morning, one good man is enough. Just keep moving. But you know who is who. And when you're checking at the Jamaica Labour Party, the most pedophile is in it. And if they're not in it, they're related to somebody in it. So that is the reason why they do not want to do it. Then right, Chuck is a total disgrace to the Jamaica people. I want to ask you the question. What is it that the Jamaican people, the common people then, what we call it, who know what we want to vote for? Why are we hurting us, killing us? What do we don't know? When we don't know, make the Vumba V and the Vumba Bar people them not dead. Who are dead? Poor people. Who are vote for no? Poor people. Who are work for no? Poor people. Then why not accept from poor people? Let go off and we now, man. Time come. Why you not treat people so? Eh? Come back, you're going to talk about ombudsman. And ombudsman in get money. And you as a minister of justice do not know who is the ombudsman. Woman or flyer and bull. What can go so in 2025? You are the minister of justice that's supposed to fall under your portfolio. You're supposed to know who are and who are doing it. Why are you? What I'm doing now? I'm telling you something. I am not just a hard-headed person, but I interact with people every day. And I tell them something. The more you talk, the more people here to know. People just need to know. When you look and see the Delano have it shoved down. That's true, so now bad man government. Badness, so I deal with it. Uno no like uno country. Uno like uno people. Uno love Andrew Holness. What is this? What Andrew Holness or the Prime Minister that serving at the Jamaica Labour Party have for uno? That if you say jump uno ask him or I. None of uno can talk up to him and say, this not right. And when I found us out. But in my opinion, the whole in an answer this.
Exactly.
So uno have ya come up one and the other. Right? Over Big Mama now, you have one man over there named Draws Davis. Draws Davis, you come from a poor, parish background. A papa used to be a policeman with drink and junk. Your granny grow you down a church bed. You now come front up, boomba V and boomba va. Pull up your socks, cause the seed you sow, you're going to reap.
Amen.
Don't right? There's a young man I talk about, said this government fail with. You talk about a rubbish. The government fail the Jamaican people. It might fail you because you are and I can save you. But to look at you, who used to be the president of the media, whatever you be, is a total disgrace. It's a total disgrace. The government has failed the Jamaican people. call a spade for what it is.
Exactly.
When Mark Holding win, we are going to hold him even tighter than our hold Andrew Wallace. You know why? Andrew Wallace is powerful. They come like a dog. Every time you pinch him, when I ram, you ram with him. He feel like a pinch, I'll pinch him. So we are going to hold him. We don't love no man more with country and with grandpicking and with future grandpicking. We don't wake up, right? And we don't up at Bradley Avenue, we don't go and melt like butter against sun. And we are wicked set of people. When people talk the truth, you know best. If they're not struggling to put out the sex registry, this little girl wouldn't dead, you'll be out dead. Because people would have known, say, this man is a pedophile. Next thing too, how to tell if the yard whether people live, yes, here is somebody that did a pedophile. No time because no know, say, him, the pedophile, people can do the act and say him. Where is the DNA test to show that it was him? No, the police want to take him out. Nobody will criminal. But in a country, they would hold him. Take some DNA from him and everything to find out if I really him. Always know they're going to take some DNA and find says somebody else in the yard is a pedophile. Because to where them are calling on the radio station at the other people, the whole of them in the yard, they are narcissists. When I listen to them calling for 100 program and in mother call, in girlfriend call, in family call, and when you listen to them and dissect them, can you learn from Ratigan and learn from Mystic. And when you put all of them, all of what them are said together, the whole of them is a bungle of you know what. So whole heap and mix up is there. You can't tell me say you have a man will rape your 1-year-old daughter and you still live with that man. What can go so? And the mother will birth him. No. Because the first child said, after he done it, mama said, go along the man. No. A young girl come to me and tell me, say, my son rape him. My son rape him. You know? Me I got to tell you, say, if you go a long time, him a take man. He could have taken 100 man, he said, my son rape him, and that's the part me I deal with. You understand? So if it go in the one, analyze the man. Just like that, because I told you justice. I don't think it's the police force that are the security, because they're personnel must behave like total justice. And then you're going to say, the man is going to do. Everybody that a pipe gun, you don't going to have. Nobody now bust no shot. Everybody is a pipe gun at the police. Nobody now bust no shot. And if nobody ever said that young man a gunman, upon him is a pedophile. And make we get to the bottom of this. The woman and listening them, I feel like somebody, because you know why? What is the Ratty? He's an investigator. Listen me now. A person come to the house, and when you look, you see 2 foot in a barrel. You can't go come out and say, look how the boy can little bit me. See when the boy can little bit me. You say, in dead. You know, jump up and say, I didn't kill him. That don't look right to me. You're supposed to find him dead. You're supposed to call him and then you're going to, but see him dead, you say him. And you never see him like us. You see him like community, yes. But you never see him like out, you never see him like yard. And you go find him dead, and you say him. Just because he's a pedophile. That don't look right to me. My mind tells me, say, somebody else is there troubling that little picnic. And me can't be wrong, you know, but that's my opinion. And yes, when me hear the whole family auntie cousin, I said, me pick that out and I say something wrong. Yes, it can be him, but somebody else there is a molester too. And you want to look in it. We need some DNA test because other picnic, other things there is like Other kids here is left, whatever. And my final thought, a message to the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister, I don't know enough, but I'm giving you a warning. Call the election. But the more you make it stay longer, you stay, and the worse it becomes for you. People not even like to hear you. You have put us through too much trauma. We are suffer. We hungry. We are work and we can't maintain ourselves. Me see me work and me get me salary. And me couldn't pay me basic bills. Mother's Day weekend, me plan to go somewhere. And me couldn't go. Because when me pay the internet, pay the rent and pay the light, me no have $3,000 left and me no buy food yet. And my to go to school. Okay? We are suffer and it's not like we now work. We are working as an hostile. That's why me dying for my RPG come. Because there's nobody in the Ministry of Labor. Nobody in the Ministry of Labor is going around to these workplaces and ensure that the authority do what they're supposed to do. Give you your benefit, pay you as garden. Then come and them not pay you and tell you one piece of foolishness. And you can't go to the Ministry of Labor because they not help you. And I yield back. I yield back to the panel.
Yeah, man. Wonderful input. Sister Pat stated there. Right. Wonderful input, Sister Pat stated. I'm just going to quickly make a reference in terms of what Sister Pat said. Right. And she makes sure that she said that she's not defending any criminal. Right. So I want people to understand where Sister Pat is coming from. However, as it relates to, and that my condolences goes out to the 9-year-old little girl. It's really a horrible act. My condolences goes out to the family. Right? Vicious, horrible. However, let me say this. We have seen that the police, prior to this guy that the police analyzed, right, there was another person who has, I would say, resemble, right, the person that they analyzed, and that the police actually were pursuing, right, to unalive this person. So what Sister Pat is talking about as it relates to the interests of investigation, Ratigan and Pastor Ricky, that the police should not proceed or pursue as it relates to wanting to first use their weapon, right, to unalive, but to investigate, right? Because if for the previous person who the police had brought to 100-man police station, right? If it wasn't some form of, right, public interference, right? That young man would have analyzed, and then would have learned that okay, it's not him. And this is critically important in saying that, right, the police must depend on their investigative skills. Right? Must depend on their investigative skills and to ensure that persons being properly processed and put in the judiciary. I can't agree for police to be judge, juror, and executioner. What say you on that, Rocky?
Well, they talk about transforming the JCF. And you said transform from what to what? To what? Because when you look around at the so-called transformation, there is no transformation. It's stagnant. It's the same thing. And truth be told, the policemen and women, they'll tell you that if you just start with salaries and timely payments, especially for overtime. And they'll tell you that's not happening, even though the court has ruled that they should be paid on time, accurately. And then you look at equipment, you look at training, you look at leadership, you look at the resources that they have. And there is no transformation, except to say that the extrajudicial killings have gone up. You know, and Pastor Ricky mentioned that we should even talk about the categories for the various killings, because people, here's what's going on. We know that the numbers that they're pushing out, the numbers are incorrect. Just trust us when we tell you that the numbers are incorrect. Then I tell you what, even the numbers that they give out at the beginning of the year, those numbers are incorrect. If you just, a simple thing, if you just go back and you look like the middle of the year, go and look at what they said the murder rate was in early January for the previous year, and then go 6 months later and look at the same statistics, and you'll find that the numbers have changed. That in and of itself will tell you that the numbers, because they're constantly moving people in and out of categories. But we know of 7 categories.
8.
7. 8? Oh yeah, missing persons. Right.
Yeah, missing people. Yeah.
Yeah, where they put the bodies in, and these bodies are not counted in the murder statistics, even though a lot of them, they're murders. I mean, you have the list with you. We just quickly run over some of them.
Hold on.
But again, Ratty, wouldn't that proper investigation would have determined, right, as it relates to how you must properly place those categories?
Yeah. So what happens is that the investigators are not doing their jobs.
Exactly.
Statisticians, they have to get the numbers from the investigators, and then when they start asking questions, they're getting all of these categories, and they have to figure out, well, what do we do with this? Because, you know, first of all, they have a limited number of pathologists, people who can go and determine cause of death, right? But if you find a skeleton and you see a hole in the skull, it look like a bullet hole. I mean, and if you see it like back right or so, nobody not gonna go and shoot themselves back. So, yeah, that's really evident what going on right now. So, but those deaths are not considered murder. Like we mentioned one tonight, poison food. If somebody poison you, yeah, that's not considered. That's not considered. You have them. Pastor Ricky.
Yeah, I can read off the categories.
You can read off just read off the categories. Yeah.
Okay, the first one is death investigation. The next category is death by self-defense, and then you have death by misadventure.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have manslaughter, non-crime, suicide. So that's 7. And then you have missing people that's not on this list.
Right. So, and what's important for everyone to understand is that those bodies that they put inside of those categories, they're not counted as murders. At some point in time, I guess they move some of them around in the different categories. But here's one. They said skeletal remains found. Them find somebody. Them find somebody dead. Them find the bones, and them say that's not murder. All right. Them find decomposed body found. That's not murder.
Hold on, Rachi. Goes back in terms of what you're saying, in terms of when you find a decomposed body, right? The process of investigation would have now determined, as it relates to say, okay, all right, you found a decomposed body, right? What are the reasons surrounding, right, the death of this person, right? And you know, you'd have forensic not forensic persons are those persons who would have done, right, the various tests to determine, looking on the body, to determine whether or not, right, there was a blunt instrument used or whatever used, bullet wounds or whatever. And then definitely if you have a situation in terms of these bodies right, have bullets, right? How are you going to determine whether or not that, okay, all right, whether the person was killed, right, that is murder, or what happened to the person? So investigation is important in all of this. Yes, go ahead.
Let me just answer Maxine question. She said, what is a misadventure? It says death by misadventure is a term used in legal context, particularly in coroner's courts, to describe a death that occurs due to an accident or unintentional event where the deceased voluntarily took a risk. So the person who got injured and died knew the risk that they were taking, so now they term it as misadventure. So it implies that the death resulted from a deliberate act that unexpectedly went wrong, rather than an accident where no risk was voluntarily taken.
Yeah. For example, if you're climbing a very high mountain and you slip and fall, that would be considered that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There might be execution on this too, on the misadventure.
Then also accidental shooting that requires an investigation.
Yeah. Exactly.
Accidental shooting it requires an investigation. The poison food one, the one that puzzled me, you know, because
poison food.
Poison is not a natural part of food. So if poison is in the food, that must have been intentionally put there. So that needs to be investigated.
Yeah, and that's why we are telling them man to watch out when them go out and places and go eat food, you know, because if the poison is not counted as murder, that's not murder.
Right.
Well, here what happened in
and I left out the murder category, and that murder category I overlooked it, but that one have a 1,146, which is what they reported at the end of last year.
Right, and it doesn't
include the rest of category. Them
yeah, the other 8 categories are not included.
The other stuff, right.
Look at this one. They have one manslaughter, right? Manslaughter. And now, from what I've been told, the manslaughter charges in Jamaica, most of them they originate as murder. And they said the DPP and others, it's a legal decision. It's a legal decision. So if somebody could commit a murder and then plead guilty to a manslaughter, well, the manslaughter is not murder. It's not counted. So you commit murder, but you plead guilty to manslaughter, which is, say, an unintentional killing. But then it's not counted. So people, they're playing games. They're
Ratty, hold on, back up a bit, because I have to explore a bit. Now, if we define number 3, say murder, it would be the malicious intent of someone killing another person. That would be defined as murder. Now, if we are to define manslaughter, right, that would be the unintentional killing of a human being. Right?
It's still a homicide, either way.
Yeah, it's still a homicide. But they are just trying to define them as it relates to what is murder when they're talking about someone maliciously, right, and intentionally, right, execute the person as it relates to what is manslaughter. Manslaughter now would be the unintentional killing. Just like if someone driving a car, right, and speeding, unnecessary speeding, and as a result, you cannot control the vehicle, and it may swerve, and as a result of that, people die. That is what now would break down to be manslaughter, because from the onset, it wasn't an intentional killing. It was exactly.
It wasn't premeditated. It wasn't premeditated.
Yes, Pastor.
Are you saying it wasn't premeditated?
No.
But
let me give you the dictionary meaning of it.
Yeah.
So manslaughter is the crime of killing a human being without malice or a forethought, or otherwise in circumstances not amounting to murder. That means it was accidental, it wasn't intentional.
Exactly. So the point that I'm making, Rocky, let me drive on the point. Sorry. Well, let me drive on the point. So if Paula Llewellyn, the DPP, is dealing with a particular case, right? And as it relates to mens rea and actus reus, and that the situation was intentionally, how could Paula Llewellyn break that down in a plea bargain then for manslaughter? How that?
Let me answer that question in a second. Another instance of manslaughter would be like, so as you mentioned, you have a speed zone which is like 30 miles per hour, and somebody will drive 130 miles per hour, and there's a school district nearby, right? Yeah. And he hit some children. What they say is that he has a disregard for life, but it was intentional that him say, I want to kill this person. Just a speed with a disregard for life. So that would be manslaughter. Now, going to the thing about Paula Llewellyn. Paula Llewellyn could do it because you know why? You have cases where there's a murder charge, but the investigation was botched. There's a problem with the investigation. So what they do, they get the person now to plead.
Okay.
Give to the lesser charge of manslaughter. Yeah, as opposed to the intention, the more serious one, which is murder, because they may have an issue trying to prove intent.
But again, you know, Ratty, that proved the weakness of an investigation, because if the investigation process, right, don't have the solid evidence to support, right, whether first degree murder or second degree murder, then it will be quite understandable that, okay, the prosecution team would want to go up for the lower hanging fruit, so to speak, as it relates to manslaughter, to have him convicted. So people need to understand that.
First degree is with a weapon. First degree is with a weapon, and second degree is without a weapon, right?
Yeah.
Here's another one. Here's another cat in the death investigation. Here's another subcategory. Body found. What does that mean?
Unknown.
And you know what? We didn't want to give the people the numbers we them put inside it. Because we're talking hundreds of people, you know. Hundreds of dead bodies in these 8 cats. This is just 7.
Slip off on a little head and dies.
Yeah, this
as it relates to the categories, sorry again, but as it relates to the categories, what it seems to me is that the Jamaica Labour Party administration categorized these dead to lower the murder rate. That's what it seems to me in terms of what you're saying here.
Yeah. But they don't include this category into the murder. The murder rate is by itself. That's one category. And then you have 6 other categories on this document. And then you have one category that's missing, which is the missing people. So it would have been 8. But when you look at the murder category, them only report 1,146 from January to December last year.
But hold on, let me ask a question. And I'm glad we are discussing this topic. So as it relates to the death investigation, right? Now, a figure can be reported for, say, 2024. So then in 2025, when the investigation determined that, okay, these are murders, right? Now they will go back now and to adjust the figure accordingly.
They should.
But now, for a political mileage, to gain a political mileage, Ratty, this now is important, because to gain a political mileage, if you are able, you understand, to suppress the numbers, putting it in death investigation, right, particularly now on the eve of our general election, to say that, okay, the crime rate is going down, but actually, the death investigation process is so slow to determine whether some of these categories are really murder. So that is what everyone else is doing.
One pathologist.
Look, they have people in death investigation, dead bodies, but that they haven't determined it from going back to 2016, 2017, and they haven't determined, they haven't moved those bodies yet. Those bodies are still sitting there. And you're right. For political gain, it makes sense for them to say, okay, you know what? And look at it. On the eve of an election, they can come out and say the murder rate is down and this and that and that and that. But to say the journalists, but the journalists in Jamaica, they're not asking the right questions. In fact, I dare say most of them don't even know about this. Because if you say to them, listen, how many people do you have in death investigation? It's hundreds, I can tell you that, people. And then when they go down to the other categories, and the numbers that we have right now, the numbers them wrong. And I can tell you that the numbers them are high. And they're higher than the numbers we have.
But guess what, Sir Ratigan?
Pastor, remember to struggle with the point before me.
All right.
As it relates to death investigation, and we have seen the Prime Minister came out, right, and saying, making a prediction that for the year 2025, he's going to be able to get the crime to the lowest. How can that be when he cannot identify what is going to happen next month, the month after? So it goes to show you what the Prime Minister just exposed, that he's deliberately controlling the system.
Exactly.
Because you know what happened?
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Pastor.
I'm sorry. But guess what? Here's what he's doing, right? The numbers from 2023 is incorrect. 2022 is incorrect. 2021. So each year, them used to report the amount of people died every day, every week, every month, and till the end of the year. And they stopped doing that. This year, they have a new system where they're doing percentage. So even though the numbers are deflated and underreported, even let's use 2024 numbers because that's way underreported. So what they're saying is that crime was low in 2024, which is a lie. So then what they do now is use a percentage and don't tell us the actually death by numbers. So they say, well, crime is down by 19%, 20%, 25%, 30%. 36%, now it's 38%. But how are you measuring crime down from a bogus number the year before? Because they're saying crime is down by 38% from this time last year. But last year's numbers are incorrect. So you see, so what he's doing is deceiving the people, him and the corrupt commissioner of police, and the Prime Minister is going to use this as leverage to campaign on it. This is why the People's National Party cannot agree with the Prime Minister and say crime is down, because crime is not down. Crime is weird. Marco Rubio, I mean, Rubio went over the new numbers. Him get Rubio numbers at the press conference. And Secretary Rubio said, all right, let me go back to Washington and look at it. And 12 days later, April 8th, Rubio updated the travel advisor. So we now remove level 3. Americans must reconsider going to Jamaica because of high crimes, extremely high crimes, and health conditions, healthcare. So when you see this deceitfulness of this man who's so desperate to hold on to the reins of government, and the People's National Party, I don't care if they might disagree with me, when they can't agree with bogus number and say crime down, that you deceive Jamaican people along with the Prime Minister.
I agree with you, Pastor Ricky, because let me say this too. Because and you mentioned it, Pastor Ricky, earlier. You can't have a one pathology, right? One pathologist, right? As it relates to the death investigation, how fast that one pathology is going to move through the various categories to determine whether or not it is murder. While Andrew Holness get wet, you understand, with his political talking points.
And I got campaign on it. And guess what? When we agree with him, a crime down, we can't. When him start rev it up, and I say crime down for score political point, we can't send it because we agree with him.
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely correct. When I say people, I say that, yeah, the crime rate gone down. I say, well, them people are gone mad. Because, look, here's the thing. You know, one of the reasons why, here's what they will tell you. They will say to you, oh, you know, the fact that he said it's going to be 600 is based on where it is now. But like Pastor Ricky said, what they're basing it on now is based on bogus numbers. And I can tell you that you see these 8 categories, they're going to load them up before the end of the year to mask the true numbers. They're going to load them up. Right now the numbers them wrong. And if me tell the people, that the numbers where we get, they're going to say, wait, what going on here? And the numbers them where we get, them low. Them low, we know them low. 8 categories. How do you explain this one here?
There's one called undetermined death, right? And in an undetermined death, you have inconclusive, and then you have another one named unknown. Inconclusive, that's one category, one subcategory. Another one is unknown. Right? And then here's what me ask them. Here's what me ask them. They say to them, say, okay, so if somebody's dead, right? I ask them, want to store the bodies? Want to cremate the bodies? Want to preserve the bodies? Want to do with the bodies like from 2016? From 2016, the people who in the death investigation from the dead bodies from 2016, and then they'll get a pathologist not go there yet to determine cause of it. What do you do with that body?
And how much is it costing taxpayers to preserve all
Yeah.
this?
You can't answer.
But again, Ratty, as what you just mentioned, and my wife spoke about it, so I'm going to take with my wife fun. Inconclusive and unknown. What is the difference between those? Because it means the same thing.
Same, yeah.
No,
this is true.
That's
But
why
nothing is inconclusive.
Right,
Right,
because
You don't know what really
right? You can determine, right,
what was the real cause.
what is the real cause.
So it's unknown.
And if it is unknown, you still can't determine what is the real cause. So I don't understand where the government is going with this. This seems like madness.
It is madness.
We
It
have
is
an
madness.
idea but cannot confirm. Unknown, no idea whatsoever.
Oh, you say that?
Germany. Inconclusive.
German, okay, maybe Germany is an expert in this. So Germany said inconclusive, we have an idea, but cannot confirm. Okay, unknown, no idea whatsoever. Okay, so maybe Germany.
No, but hold on. All right, remember now, you know, there's another category now, you know. What I'm saying, decomposed body found.
yeah.
There's another category called body found. But they can't tell you the cause of death. So shouldn't those people be inconclusive or unknown? But them have another category. Body found, decomposed body found, skeletal remains found.
But all right, those three categories that you spoke that you had just spoken about, right?
Yeah.
They could either put into the unknown
Are inconclusive.
or inconclusive.
But they're separate.
What about sudden death? Ratigan, what about sudden death?
Because of that, because sometimes
Yes, sudden death. We don't know what. Yeah.
like dents like in the head, you can say,
yes.
okay, got a blunt trauma to the head, and you think that's how that person died from a blunt trauma based on like a skull fracture or something.
Okay.
So it's not like if you find a skeleton, you cannot determine a cause of death because you can look on the bony structure and see
They can do it. Yeah.
damage that's done to the skeleton.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed.
Particularly if you have a crack in the head, right?
Yeah. Look at what Pastor Ricky mentioned. Look at what the Pastor Ricky mentioned. Sudden death.
Yeah.
What that mean?
But Pastor Ricky said,
Sudden death.
sudden death.
Sudden death.
But that can have several categories, whether it is natural cause, you know, or whether you got struck by lightning or you got hit by a car, that's sudden death.
But that's not counted in the 1,146 murder rate. All of these what we're talking about is not included in the murder.
But there's no way sudden death is going to count it in the murder rate. There's no way. So we understand that.
Yeah, but you know, but here's what happened. Them have
autopsy.
Yeah, description. Yeah, them have to define sudden death. We don't know what it means. Them just create a category. We don't know what it means. Sudden death. We don't know. Look at this one now. I got the one who got this already. Body found. What that mean? Body found.
What do you mean body found?
And the other one, skeletal remains. They have body found, and then they have another one called skeletal remains found. And another one, decomposed body found. They have body found, decomposed body found, skeletal remains found.
Okay, wait. So body found could mean that they found the body like within a couple of hours after the death. Decomposing could be found a couple of weeks down the line where the
decomposition
starts decompose, and skeletal remains is when decomposition stage has passed and it's just a skeleton that is left behind.
But here's the question.
Pathologists have done an autopsy to determine the cause of
How
death.
do we know that those aren't
included?
exactly? How do we know that those aren't murder? How do
By
we know that?
investigating, looking
Investigating, as I said.
on the body,
Yeah, but
by interrogating the body.
There's no investigation or interrogation going on. Them just leave them there. Them just say, put them over
Yeah,
there.
them are hide bodies in all of these cats. This is why we cannot accept the murder rate of them and give it. That is a lie from the pit of hell, I serve by right now.
It's crazy.
That's why they're not getting any more pathologists on the island, because then they'll have to give the true figures if they have more pathologists. So they continue with just the one, just to lame everything along so that they can continue to skew the numbers.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So the Prime Minister is gearing up to run on bogus death, murder rate, homicide numbers. Jamaica, don't believe him. Crime is not down. The government of the US said crime is extremely high in Jamaica.
All right.
One last thing.
I'm believing the American government over this Prime Minister.
You know, one of the reasons why Marco Rubio decided to just leave it where it is, because there's one guy at the US Embassy who knows all about the shenanigans going on here. The regional security officer, the guy who's responsible for the physical security of the building and personal security of the employees. Him know the true numbers. And that's why when Marco Rubio said, I'll go back and check the numbers, them talk to Marco and them say, no, man. They have 8 categories of them a shovel body, they must have push body in them and hide bodies and make it. And Marco said, no, we can't deal with this.
So them have their one body bag where they must shove body in.
Crazy. This is crazy.
We have a government
And you want us administration. Boy, corrupt, man.
Hey, this is a scandal, The Prime Minister don't respect the dead. I mean, families are grieving and him don't acknowledge the death of the family members.
And the bodies cannot be laid to rest.
Yes.
The souls, the bodies cannot be laid to rest. The souls cannot rest.
All right. So, you know what happened? I think we come to the final of our show tonight. Don't want to exhaust the men any longer. Pastor Ricky, right? I would mind that just close the curtain for us now. Pastor.
Yeah, I just want to say my condolences to the family of the 9-year-old young girl that her innocence was taken, and they found her unalive, brutally, wickedly, evil. I can't just imagine what the family is going through at this time. So, on behalf of Sir Ratigan, Lady Anne-Marie, Sir Byron, Mystic Sensation family, we all want to express our condolences. This is a time where we show empathy and sympathy, compassion for those that are grieving and hurting. But at the same time, we must tell the truth. The government, the judiciary has failed the family and all the other families who have their children molested and, their innocence taken. A justice minister should resign. When you cannot release the sex offenders registry, when you said the people on it, if you release it publicly, will have a second sentence. But yet we have a story where if it's true, someone who was released from jail, came out and second sentencing by doing something wrong like this. When in America, let me just say this real quick. In America, and I always have to talk about America, because when you look at the efficiency of a first world country, online, you can go online and look up the sex registry of every sex offender on that list. It's not hidden. Somebody gets placed on that list, is released from jail, it's published, and the people in the community is notified. They have rules. They cannot go near a school. They cannot go near anywhere children is. In America, everybody get an Amber Alert on their phone when a child is gone abducted or missing, or something of that nature. It gives the description of the vehicle, the license plate, and so forth. And so there's so much technology and mechanism that in a country where there is freedom of the press, the media is all over these stories. They don't, like Jamaica, you don't hear them talk about it because they don't want to offend the government. Foolishness. So, you know, the justice minister should resign. He's a disgrace to failure of not releasing the sex offenders registry. Is doing a disservice to little boys and girls in Jamaica who have been molested. And I just want to say to every mother who have their children molested, you have to vote this government out. They don't care about you. They're hiding and protecting rapists, molesters, predators, pedophiles, and they're protecting them because they know them. And that's the honest truth. And so vote them out. They don't deserve to represent you in your constituency. They don't deserve to be in the parliament. They don't deserve to be in the government because they're all corrupt. And the judiciary system in Jamaica, listen, when a sex offender get released from jail, the parole officer or the probation officer go to that community where that person is going to be staying. You can Google this. This is public information. And then they check out the area, the community, and then based upon the environment, then they go back and report to the court before the person is released. They know the due date of their release. So they do this to protect other children, innocence. But in Jamaica, the system, this banana republic government that cares nothing about the people, will not do the right thing. For heaven's sakes, release the sex offender registry. The justice minister should resign. He's condoning with rapists, molesters, pedophiles, online predators, and sex offenders. He's protecting them. Back over.
All right. Totally agree with you, Pastor Ricky. There we have it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say big thanks, right, again to the panel, Pastor Ricky, right, and of course, Ratigan, who stand and always giving their service to the Jamaican people. I want to say big thanks to the chat, all the persons who are supporting Mystic Sensation, those in TV land, locally and in the diaspora. Big thanks to always make it Mystic Sensation. Wifey, your comment on that?
Okay, guys. Thank you so much for your continued support. Really appreciate each and every one. We know that you could have been elsewhere, but you chose to be with us, so we do not take that for granted. And Pastor Ricky and Mr. Ratigan, thank you so much for your continued support, giving your voice to the voiceless. Really appreciate the work that you guys are doing. Thank you so much. And guys, thank you so much for always coming to listen and to participate. We really appreciate each and every one of you and value your input. I make sure I try to go through the chat and read your comments, because it's not just us on the panel. We have to include you as well and see what you're saying and interact with you with what you're saying. So thank you so much. We really appreciate and respect each and every one of you. And thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you for those who have been journeying with us from the beginning. Really, really, really appreciate it.
Live, everybody. Give it a thumbs up. That's
all right. That's it. Bless myself. Pastor Ricky. All right. People, love you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Travel on the gravel.
Wonderful, wonderful show. Really enjoy.